7 o'clock, and I just want to welcome everybody to the Town of Rhinebeck Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for August 20th, 2025. And before we get going, I wanted to acknowledge and thank our newest board member here. It's Kara Keywell, and she was recommended to us. We were looking for somebody to fill in the slot, and it's tough to get volunteers. And it's tough to get volunteers with really good experience. And Kara has about 10 years of experience dealing with the Rock Ledge application, which is a vast application, but going back and forth. And has been in front of the planning board many times, the zoning board. And but by doing that over 10 years, she developed a very good grasp of the zoning law. And also, and probably most importantly to me, was able to very effectively, gracefully, cogently make arguments. And that impressed the planning board people and impressed us. And so she was a perfect candidate. Luckily, she said yes to stepping over to this side. And so we welcome Kara. Thank you very much. And look forward to being on board. You will be very good. Okay. So anyway, here we go. The first thing is to take a look at the draft meeting minutes for July 16th, 2025. I reviewed them. I did not see any mistakes or concerns or whatever, but I asked my board members to visit it and get a take a look at the any corrections, concerns. Good. So I'll make a motion that we accept the zoning board minutes as presented for the meeting of July 16, 2025. Do I have a second? All right. All in favor? Aye? Aye. Okay. Great. Pass. All right. We have a big agenda tonight, probably one of the largest I've seen in 22 years. So we want everybody to say their piece, especially during the public hearing and that kind of stuff. But just be cognizant that, we want to be out here before midnight. So, anyway, the first matter that's up, we have 5 new applications.
Just before we start, I do have an announcement.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Are your microphones on?
Yeah, mine is.
It is on.
The red.
Is it working?
The red.
Hold on,
green.
turn on.
Ah. Aha.
It's now working. Is
Just
it rolling, Bob?
Just as an update, Mr. Stanley had the use variance application. As you will remember, he did withdraw the use variance application. We have a letter of withdrawal from July 20th. And just for a point of clarity, in the withdrawal, Mr. Stanley mentioned that he'll just continue it as a non-conforming use. For clarity, it's not a non-conforming use because as a short-term rental, STR, to be a non-conforming, you have to have been legally permitted before any zoning changes. And STR was not permitted in the town because it wasn't in the use table, and not in the use table is prohibited. And it's now considered permitted anyway. So anyway, I just wanted to just clarify that it's not a non-conforming use, but he has withdrawn the use variance application.
But the interpretation is still on.
Yes, the interpretation and the appeal are on the agenda.
Okay, so the first new application is the case 1085 Christopher Travers. Is there somebody here for that?
Yeah.
Come on up.
Chris Travers is here too. My name is Jeff Irish. I'm the owner of a company called Hudson Solar Battery Solutions.
And I think you just go to the microphone. Yes, microphone. Okay. And you are on TV, and we have all kinds of fancy things here since you've been here with us.
There's been some changes.
Yes.
So my name is Jeff Irish. I'm the owner of a company called Hudson Solar Battery Solutions. We've been contracted by Chris Travers to install a small ground-mounted solar array on his property. It's in the front yard, so obviously it has to come to the ZBA. The zoning enforcement officer said it needs a 501-foot setback to be located in the front yard. Being ground mount solar, it will also have to go to the planning board for special use permit and site plan review, and that's scheduled as well. So, just briefly, it's,
You need a.
oh,
Folks,
perfect.
it was working a second ago.
There we go, yep, okay. So this is the property. It's an unusual shaped property with the house back here at the very back of the property. The ground mounted solar system we're proposing would be right up here. The property itself contains a historic structure here. It's a carriage house that was built by Stanford White. It's a beautiful building, but it sits right at the very back of the property. So there's nothing, basically no option to site a solar system anywhere on the ground that's not in the front yard. There's heavy woods, mature woods to the sides here, also all the way up this side and up along this side as well. The options we considered a roof-mounted system. Besides the heavy shading, we didn't think that a roof-mounted system would be appropriate for a historic building. It's got a nice slate-style roof on there right now. I don't think Stanford White would approve of that, but it wouldn't generate any electricity anyway because it's basically buried in the trees. The other options we considered were out here. This is an old stone wall, and as you come into the property, you have a beautiful kind of view of landscaping and grounds, and the stone wall, and then this really nice historic home located back here. We've got a ground-mounted solar structure in this area would detract from the historic picture of the property, not be suitable. And other options would be up in here. This is it's not heavily wooded, but there are large spaced mature trees, and there's just no solar resource. It just so happens that right up in this area here, probably because of shallow rock, there's a small clearing where no trees have really grown. And because of the access to light in this very small spot right here, the trees along this edge, large trees, some of them got covered in vines, killed by vines, and had to be taken down. And when they got taken down, partially because the incoming electric service is overhead and runs right through here, through the forest, which is a threat to the electric wires. When they got taken down, it improved the solar panels here. So there's a small area here for a small system. They use a lot of electricity. This is a large home. We sized what we thought was the biggest system that could work in the solar window that's available, and also not be visible from a lot of different directions. And it's a 13 kilowatt system. Will generate about 30% of the electricity that's consumed on the property. That's probably about the biggest system we could fit in here without it being visible. So I have a simulation that will show you. This is Route 308. There are no homes that can see this entrance really. This is a 55-mile-per-hour zone. You're also approaching, either you're coming up a hill here on a curve or you're going down a hill on a curve. It's not the kind of place to look around, you kind of have to pay attention. There's not a lot of shoulders. We felt that the system was located in here or here. It can be visible from 308. It would also be visible coming in to the property and visible leaving. But in this unique location, I'll show you the situation.
Is there as you go in, I've been before for the prior, on the right, as you go in, is there like a big, large rock outcropping kind of thing that would screen it as well?
Yeah, there's a hill right here. So you kind of got a situation where it's like a table, and the solar system will be located in the middle of the table, and you can't see when you're on 308 or coming in the driveway, you can't see what's up on top of the table. So,
We'll get you the rendering.
So you can't see it on 308.
no.
Is this the same property that just got a variance for a garage?
Yes.
Yep.
And that garage doesn't have a slate roof.
No, it's metal.
It does?
It's metal.
Metal.
But it's
It's
deep in the
back
woods.
in, it's back in the woods. Because you go way back to the end of the driveway.
So this is the site right here, and that's a rendering of what it will look like. We designed two small arrays. Anything wider here would not get sufficient solar access. Anything further south here would lose its solar access because the brush and trees kind of close in on the space. But in this situation right here, we can meet the state's minimum requirements, which is 70% solar exposure, just in this small location of this. So this is what surrounds it. So it's, you know, it's pretty hidden from here. And we also have some pictures that we'll show later, if you show them tonight, if you like, of what it looks like in the winter. Yeah. So we went out in April, beginning of April, right before things leafed out. There's a natural berm here, and so the array would be up on the top back here, about 86 feet back from the edge of the road. So this 7 to 8 foot rise continues along the entire length of 308, which helps shield it from view as well. And this is the vegetation. So as you move further west, the height of it increases. And again, it's set about 80 feet back from this edge. And it's only 10 feet high.
So what's the distance, approximate distance from the panels to the home?
About 500 feet, I think that's what Brian, we drew up for Brian. Yeah, it's quite a ways. Yeah, it's very in.
What are you going to tap into? You indicated that there was a line.
Yeah, the electric meter, the incoming overhead service, Central Hudson has a 3-phase feeder coming out of the Rhinebeck substation that runs along here. It picks off one phase, comes through some overhead poles to a pole that's right here. It's this path that was threatened by the dead trees, the cultivated trees here. But the meters here, we're going to trench down to the driveway, along the driveway, through the driveway opening around the stone wall, and then over here to what's called the line side intertie at the electric meter.
What's the distance approximately? It's come up recently that the farther the panels are away from patching into the pole, you lose power. I'm misstating.
This is a relative, this is a small system.
Okay.
This is a 13 kilowatt system. It's true with larger systems. The larger the system, the higher the current, and the losses are dependent on the current. And the only way to reduce that is with huge wire sizes. But this is not a, this is actually a very small system. So this is maybe
Okay.
40 amps, total current, 240 volts. So it's not an issue for this. So I don't know what else, what other information you'd like, there's more available, but obviously, hopefully we'll get public hearing next time. Alex, some more.
Jeff, I know you had provided this, I didn't know what this.
Yeah, so this is a calculation of the total solar resource factor that I talked about. It's an integral over the 8,760 hours of the year and what percentage of direct daylight each spot has. It's a calculation that we're required to do for the state of New York. And you can see the first array up here, we can get up to about 76%. As we move down here, it drops to below the 70%. So we're averaging 2 to achieve the 70%, 70.75. If we continued here further south, one person on the planning board asked that at the pre-conference, who said, why don't we just move it further away from 308? If we did, we lose the solar resource factor because things close in here, and you start to increase the visibility from 308 from the driveway coming in and from the driveway going out. So right, the way it's planned, the only visibility would probably be about 20 seconds as you're driving out of the property if you look straight up the channel here.
Questions? Concerns? Okay. appreciate the additional information that we got, I think,
Yeah.
today, the rendering and photographs and all that kind of stuff. So that's all I was gonna ask for and was supplied previously. So, with that said, I'll make a motion that we accept the application. Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, and when is the public hearing?
September 17th.
How much?
September 17th.
September 17th. Will you be available?
Yeah, and who takes seeker?
Well, I'm looking at my cheat sheet here, and it looks like the planning board will.
Yes, it's your, are you on the, when will you be on the, you're not on, oh, were you on
We
the
are.
planning board?
September
September.
15th.
So, okay, so yeah, planning board will likely take lead agencies.
All right,
Thanks.
thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so we already dealt with the seeker issue. Because of what the planning board suggested, that they be the lead agency, and I have no problem with that. Wonderful. Referral is just to the planning board, they already have it. That's really about it. Yeah.
I do have a non-related question. My
Uh-oh.
pen just ran out of ink. Does anybody have an extra one? I can
I have a pencil.
I
Can you do
apologize.
pencil?
These are, thank you. Sorry. I need to be able to take this, so. How do you open it?
And
Oh, I got it. Okay. We're good.
is it working?
Yes, thank you.
So I think that's the housekeeping, other than who would like to be the contact person on this?
I will.
Yeah, okay, so Richard. Great. Okay, number 2 is case number 1086, W. Gary Meck. Meek?
As an inherit the earth.
Okay. Yes, Michelle. Okay. Here's
Hopefully
Meek.
this will be pretty straightforward for you.
Okay, well, just, all we are doing right now is seeing whether your application is complete enough for us to accept it. We may ask for some stuff, we do that often. But if you could just take us through your application and what you want to do.
Okay, this is my house on Mill Road, 399. And what I'm proposing is to install a 2-occupied tool shed to the north of the property. The property looks large, and so there's all sorts of questions about could you move it further back in the property. With this shed, it's really simple. The flat area on my land runs from about here right down there. The rest of it falls sharply towards Lansman Hill. So there is no other place to locate a shed. I don't have any other outbuildings on the property. And this is the only place to put it. And as it happens, there is a tax mapping document that does show the land scales on here, but planning board asked me just re-put them on the drawing for the next meeting, which I will do. There you can see the topographics falling off pretty sharply right into the river here. This is the area of relative flatness, and it just so happens in between a whole bunch of large old trees, there's actually an area which is about the size of that white square there, which looks as if it may have been dug out during the building of the house, so it's actually relatively flat. It's actually sunken by about 4 feet from the surrounding ground.
And we will do a site visit. So
Yes,
that's-
it'll
that's-
be obvious to
will
you
be
that
obvious.
you won't on the property.
And we will ask that you stake out, because it's not actually in place at this point in time. It's proposed. So we would ask that you stake out exactly where it's going to be, so when we go out there, we'll know, we'll be able to see it. And especially in comparison to the rest of the property and drop-offs and everything else.
Yeah, it'll be very clear.
Okay.
There is actually, I think there's an overhead photograph with some paint markings on it that I did put in the package.
Yes.
Yes, that one there. See, there's just a nice area here, and this bit here is flat. There's the edge there. The property falls away, and that's the road, which is a scenic road, of course. I didn't stake it out before, I just marked it up with
We just need for when
spray
we do,
paint.
yeah, when we do the site inspection, which will be after the public hearing.
Right.
We'll need that, but we have time. Kim, I think there were some other photographs that might be, there we go.
Just showing the approximate location of the shed.
Now, there were two photographs. One showed kind of tan with blue accent, and the other just.
Yes,
which
so the company that manufactures the shed has a fairly standard computer design process for the normal sheds. This is one of their premium sheds because my wife and I decided that we wanted to make this so that it actually looks good from the road. So it's got cedar siding on it. So the cedar will, of course, age like the house. The house is cedar shades. The house is, it will be blue. The house is white with some mint green, and this will be exactly the same. Some white trim with mint green doors, so it matches the property. Same windows as well.
Gravel foundation.
Yes,
Yeah,
with
you need
sitting on
gravel.
4x4s. Yeah.
That's all.
Are you really gonna have window boxes with flowers?
No, that was just a touch twee for us. So as I think the marked in the photograph, there'll be no window boxes and no shutters. The house doesn't have shutters, so we're just making it match the property.
That's the one right on the curve, right? I think.
There's
Your
several
house.
curves.
Yeah, you're right. But
There's
I
an
think I
aerial
know,
right
yeah, yeah. Oh, it looks like a curve.
Yeah, we're on that curve, and there's another curve and another
Yeah,
curve.
yeah, yeah. Right.
I think you mentioned that the shed will probably be slightly visible from the road, but the
Oh.
tank and the propane tank is going to be behind the shed.
So the propane tank will be located to the north, and on this area where the shed's going, the ground rises from where the shed's sitting, so the propane tank probably won't be visible as you're coming down Mill Road, but by the time you get to here, you would see it.
You're watching the road.
Because it's not the vertical tanks, it's a horizontal tank, so it sits a bit lower, but, you know, the top on it might be painted green, but the rest of the tank for sun heat is going to be done.
This tank, and I see a generator. Is
Yes.
all of this for the shed?
No, the shed's just a tool storage shed.
Oh,
This is for the
This is a
house.
whole house emergency generation system.
so you're in front of us for these as well, not just the shed?
They're all, it's kind of more the concrete pad. Everything is in front of the house, I think.
Okay.
No, everything's
So
behind
the
the house,
shed
but
and the
it's within the
generator,
150
100.
foot setback.
Right, it's a setback, front yard setback
Yes.
application.
the shed and the generac and the propane.
Yeah, there is a drawing somewhere
Yeah.
that shows the plan. Yeah, as the builder said, this isn't a permanent foundation or anything like that. So the builder said he hopes there'll be a little bit of flexibility when he installs them, rather than 6
yeah.
inches here. But what I was informed was the key point is this setback is currently inadequate in the code. So as you can see, the shed itself, the corner of the shed would be 110 feet, which is 40 feet less than the 150 foot. There's the propane tank approximately there, and this one approximately here. I'd probably put in the propane tank and the generator before the shed, because that way they get in with the concrete plinth, you know, bring them in little cranes and sit that down, and then the shed is then easily maneuvered to ensure that it doesn't come inside that 110 feet, of course.
Way to plan.
Sounds like a plan.
Any questions, concerns?
Yes.
All right, I thought the application was nice and complete, and thank you for the renderings. I usually always are screening for renderings, because we don't get them, but thank you very much for the renderings. The only other thing I was thinking, do you have could you provide us just a general a photograph of the house and how it's going to appear? I guess you kind of have it. You just-
Yeah, there are some photographs that show the house.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you already did that. Nice.
Yeah, that's the north of the house
Yeah.
as you come down the Mill Road. That's the front of the property.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
That works for me. I'm not going to be getting it all the time, so thank you. All right,
It's working.
yeah. Questions, concerns? All right, so I'll make a motion that we accept the application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Well, you here 17th, September 17th, I think that's the date.
It's on my calendar already.
Oh, well,
He knew before us.
that's right, well, he's inheriting yours, so you know. Anyway, okay, so the 17th, basically we have a public hearing, and your neighbors will all be notified about what you want to do, and they can come here and ask questions, or they can support you, or oppose, whatever they want to do. A lot of times you don't have anybody, but we have a public hearing, and we'll ask you to go through the same process of telling us what you want to do. After the public hearing, we'll come out and do a site inspection, and that's when you have to stake it out. and everything. So that's the next part of the process.
Okay,
All right, thank you very much.
bye.
It's already been in front of the planning board this past Monday, and the planning board has classified it as type 2 action for 617.5C9. So I think that you can accept that. and
Yes.
move it on.
Thank Melody. So that's nice. All righty, referrals to the, obviously the planning board, they have it in the WAC, and reason for that?
It's within the LWRP district. LWRP pretty much goes to Route 9.
That should do it, except that we need to have a person who would like to volunteer to be the contact person for that. Okay. We have Ryan who's stepping up for that. Okay, so the next one on is case number 1087. Is it Wincliffe Court?
Yes.
Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I'm the reason.
Okay, well, that's good enough. So again, you've seen what, how we proceed here, so if you could just take us through the application, what you want to do.
The link on it?
Yes, please. So, I'm a little south of the previous project. Mill Road is here. This is our project site. Again, Mill Road here, this is Wincliffe Court. We have a single-family dwelling in this abnormally shaped lot. It's in the Historic Preservation District. It's not a historic building, though. It's an existing non-conforming lot because we are about 2.5 acres. The minimum size acreage for this district is 3. And I'm here seeking variances for the front and rear yard. Also, as of today, we've noticed that we need a 7-yard variance because the proposed addition is proud of the principal existing building that's here now. But if you could follow me on this, by offsetting the front 2 setbacks of the front yard, we're establishing a setback here for 200 feet, and then 200 feet here from this front yard line. So after you offset those lines, the abnormal shaped lot almost becomes unbuildable at that point. And what we're proposing to do is create a 2-story or a 2-story carport. The first floor would be a 2-story carport. The second floor would be a deck. So first floor carport, second floor deck. No, it's confusing when you say 2-story carport. But yes, with the stair on the outside, going up to the deck, and the deck would have a like screen element of slats on the outside. There's a couple images, but that's basically what we're here is we're seeking variances for the front and proud 7-foot distance from the existing principal building on the north side.
I know you have photographs, maybe you could take us
Yes.
through that. The one thing I was gonna ask for, renderings, that's my thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate the photographs, that's great, but if you could just give us a rendering of what this is gonna look like coming off of your house.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So we're gonna need that.
I love doing renderings, so I'll bring some in.
Okay.
If I heard correctly, you said screen on the.
On the carport?
Yeah.
Yes, so that'll be the next slide, but just
Window
some,
picture.
yeah. So it's basically 1x slats on the outside. This would be facing Wincliff Court, this is the front elevation. This is the west elevation, and then this is the south elevation. It's been a pointer day.
Must be mine.
there you
MO
go.
today.
But this is looking into the carport, basically. You would pull in, you have access to the second floor deck. We have slats on this side and on this side. So front and back really is where the slats would be in. It would just be 1x material, you know, with spacing of 3 or 4 inches. And then the placement of the carport would be on the existing end of the driveway before you go into the garage. Currently there's garage doors into the building coming off this way. So the carport would just rest on the existing gravel drive now, so no vegetation would be disturbed.
What's the square footage on this approximately?
26 by 20, so 460
Okay.
square feet.
And, no water or?
No, no.
Can you see this from Mill Road?
The planning board brought that up now, but it's visible minimally, I think, especially now with the vegetation. We're happy to go out there and take some pictures and bring that in next time, or if you guys schedule a site visit as well. But some of the images in the previous slide will show you too, the vegetation around the house. It's pretty much, you know, pretty dense wooded area. This is the view from Wincliff.
So you see from Wincliff, probably not from Mill.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay. And what you're putting obviously is on the, say, do the top right photograph on the right there with it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly,
where
right
it's-
there.
that's where
It's
you're
an
proposing.
extension of the house,
Yep.
the deck is up there.
Okay. That's what I thought, but the rendering would be lovely. Renderings just giving us as much
Okay.
information as to what it's gonna look like. And then again, when we do the site inspection, we need to have it staked out.
Great.
Richard, I did get some Google Earth images. It seemed like most of it, so this is Wincliff right here.
Right.
And I kind of just went down on it on Google Earth, seemed like most, this is looking the other way, so it really looked like it was kind of shielded.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that. I'm on the road quite a bit, and I don't think I can see it at all.
Yeah, and I think these images are taken around this time of the year too, so this is basically what you look at when you drive by.
Good. Good. Questions, concerns, anybody? So, I'm gonna make a motion to accept the application subject to
Renderings.
renderings. So if you could get us those renderings, typically, when do we typically get them? A couple weeks before the public hearing?
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks before.
Yeah,
the
that's
public
plenty of
hearing.
time.
So just, you know, it doesn't have to be exhaustive, but we really need to get an idea of what it's gonna look like
Absolutely.
before it's built. So
Who loves doing renderings?
Do.
we love renderings, that's right.
Well, on the, what do you call it, the newest generation of designers where we like to do 3D modeling and stuff like that, and a lot of other architects, AutoCAD.
Well, no, it's wonderful because we never used to have that kind of stuff, and now we have a pretty good idea of what it's
Yeah,
gonna look like.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's part of what we have to look at.
Right,
And what's-
right, understandable.
So,
Understandable.
All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we accept the application subject to the additional renderings. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. How about September 17th? Can you be
Public
here?
hearing?
Yes, for the public hearing.
Great.
All right, we'll see you then.
I'll see you then. Thank you.
And if you can get us those renderings 2 weeks before.
Will do.
Great.
Right.
Thank you. All right.
And just similar to the last application, this application was also from the planning board on Monday. And they have also classified it as a type 2 action, subject to 617.5C11. So I would recommend that the PBA accept that.
This is wonderful.
That
I've
is
never
very
seen
well
this ever. So that's great, yes, we'll definitely do that. And referrals to the planning board and the WAC.
Yeah, same reason. that
Yeah,
it's in
same
the-
reason, yeah. And then, so the last thing we need to do is to assign somebody to this. Okay. Kara's first application. Okay, the next one is case number 1088, 34 Mill Road LLC. Is someone here for that? Good evening.
Evening. My name is Frank Monroe. I'm an architect. I'm working with Jonathan Mensch on the acquisition of this property. 34 Mill Road. The property is about 150 feet wide, street front along Mill Road, and approximately 250 feet deep. It is a 1915 caretaker's cottage that was once part of the Raspberry property. There happens to be a twin next door, which received variances somewhat similar to what we're asking for due to the kind of the non-conforming nature of the lot. On the next slide, so these are existing conditions. The next slide will show, I think, an aerial photograph where it's rather heavily wooded along the middle road and also on either side of the lot, which backs up to the cemetery. There are some beautiful tree specimens which have really kind of helped us generate a plan for the house. It's a stucco building. At one time it did have a clay tile roof. Those tiles were actually preserved and given to the neighbor for her to make repairs on her house. It currently has an asphalt shingle roof. You can see the stucco finishes with some timbers, kind of a new Tudor style. It was built in 1915. The proposal is to do an extensive renovation of the existing house and to put an addition on the rear, one-story addition, along with a one-story carport. Second floor plan, basement plan, that was the first floor plan. Second floor, and we're going to maintain much of the existing structure of the house. Existing elevations, section. So now we're into the proposal. Mill Road in this case is on the left side. The existing house is this central portion here, which consists of a kind of four-square plan with a smaller addition on the rear, which was a kitchen.
Does that exist, that little additional?
It does exist, so it's hard to see, but this is actually grayed in. And the addition, which we're planning, is basically a primary suite. So it consists of a one-bedroom, a bathroom, a laundry area, and some closets. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the carport. which we did not want to build a garage, and we liked very much the idea of something that was open. So the first decision was to set everything back behind the existing house. So you'll see this kind of green privet hedge, which is actually, if you go a little bit smaller, you'll see it appears on both sides of the house. So it helps to provide privacy for some outdoor spaces as well. But also, we wanted to really, it's almost like a backdrop for the house, the historic house itself. And everything new occurs on the other side of it. So that we envision that being approximately 7 feet high. We'll have to incorporate some fencing as well, because kind of a new addition to the project was this pool, which is about 12 by 22 feet. So as I said, the existing drive pulls in here. It's kind of ill-defined right now, and they kind of used to park in this area here. We wanted very much to maintain the historic entry, even though we're putting a new entry on the rear, which would probably get somewhat intense use because that's where the people are going to be parking. We wanted to leave a little pocket for if there is a guest coming to the house, or depending on the weather, it might be convenient, or even people who are unloading or people who are delivering vehicles there, and so that the front porch becomes almost like a porte-cochere where people can drop, you can drop people off, and then you can even continue along to this enclosed vehicular court here. So again, stepping back for the addition, and then stepping back even further for this carport, which we see is almost like an arbor, a very open structure where you can see through it, and it has a trellis rather than walls. And there's even a space in between the addition and the carport. So the variances we're seeking are for the carport on the right side here, which has a setback in this proposal of about 13 feet 4 inches. The side yard setback on the other side for the addition.
For the terrace, or?
It's not for the terrace, it's for the, it's actually for this trellis structure. It's a pergola. So that is actually 36 feet 2 inches in our proposal. And then the other setback is for the corner of the house here in relation to the side yard, which is 47 feet 6 inches in our proposal. So there are 100-yard setbacks that are obviously very challenging or impossible on this side of this land. So if you continue along to the next slide. These are just larger scale plans showing the existing house, the kitchen becoming a lounge space. The second floor, the only thing that we're changing to the second floor, very careful about the front facade of the existing house, which faces Mill Road, but we do want to make it a bit more livable. There is a guest bedroom up there. What we did was added this one dormer centered on the existing roof, intentionally set back from the overhangs. I think it's about 15 feet wide. One view from Mill Road. And again, there's a lot of vegetation there which shields much of the building from the roof. The orientation works rather well for an array of solar panels on the garage. So that's what's depicted here. So this roof is sloping down towards this motor court. The other roof of the addition is also sloping down. It's creating kind of like an incluvium or a courtyard. So that will be on top of the metal roof.
Is there a garage? You said you didn't have a garage.
Did I say garage? I'm sorry, I meant carport. Sorry. So the next slide shows the hedge which passes in behind the existing house. There's kind of a break in the hedge to allow passage of the vehicle to access the carport. And these are elevations of the rear, which are kind of still in development. Next slide. This is a side view, so from the neighboring property, which is also heavily wooded, just to show you the carport, side of the carport, and this is kind of side view of the rear of the new addition. Next slide. The top rendering is of the motor court. The hedge is on the left, so you come through, you can park the vehicle underneath the carport, and there's a side entry here, all in wood, and you can access that new lounge with beautiful views, which open up to the red maple tree. This rendering on the bottom shows the patio. What's not shown here was the new addition of the pool that we recently integrated into the plan. And this is that pergola element which provides shade for these outdoor spaces, almost like an outdoor living area defined by the L shape of the new addition and the existing house. We did also have a meeting last week with two of the neighbors, one of which was granted a approval for the variances on the kind of sister building. They're both very supportive of it.
It would be notified of the public hearing, so they can
Yes.
come here, or they can submit their petition to us.
Right.
They don't have to be here. One thing I would ask is that, and these are nice renderings, and if you could submit a rendering that shows the pool, the addition of the pool, maybe in front of the, I said, you're fooling around, not fooling around, but you're going to be changing in front of the structure a little bit. You're talking about the second floor with the window.
Right, there's a dormer. It's the only addition to the existing, the front
Just so
of
we
the.
can kind of see what the front's going to
So
look like.
you're suggesting there is an elevation, in fact, you're suggesting
There
a
is an
rendering
elevation,
from
but
the front?
something along, these visuals are really important. So, and these are great. It looks really nice and everything else, but you see what the pool is going to be and also the front.
Sure.
Just a couple of things.
You probably front should show the privet fence or. something
Yes,
like that.
yeah, very graphic.
So most of this is done on the east side of the house, which borders the cemetery? Is that right?
The cemetery is actually in the rear, it's on
Yeah.
on the back.
The east side would be the
On the narrow
neighbor,
back.
I
Here's
think.
an aerial picture.
Yeah,
Do you mean the neighbor in the sister house?
yes.
Was this house renovated like within the last 5 or 8 years already?
That may be the sister house, because I kind
Yeah,
of
I think
remember a
that's what
vague
you're thinking of,
recollection
Richard,
Yeah.
was,
of them.
you can actually see, so this one looks like
They looked,
so you see this addition
years
on
ago,
one
they looked
side,
like they were great.
there's like a big screen, I think that's the screen portion of the rear.
I don't remember the application, but I remember they came to us and received
Right.
variances for whatever they wanted to do there.
So in our case, we're actually, if this were our house, it's not, but we're building, back here.
Right.
It's not much further back. To the cemetery.
But this, yeah, but the cemetery borders 2 sides of the house, basically.
I think it's
Which
so our house is here, Richard.
Oh, okay, okay.
I was pulling
All
out.
right, that's why I was a little bit, I wasn't sure which house.
Yeah, yeah. This is-
So
this
it
is
borders
our house.
the honey house on the other side.
Right, yes.
Yeah, okay. Great, great little house.
Beautiful. It's sort of-
This is just
so
the,
close to the village, but it seems like it's out.
this looks like a Google Earth image again, just to kind of show what it looks like from the road.
Wonderful.
You have a lot going on in this renovation.
There is, so part of it, a lot of it is about restoring the old house, opening it up. It has that kind of very dark Victorian interior. We want to bring more light in, so a lot of the proposal is about that and allowing, you know, the owners to enjoy the outdoors and that beautiful back of the lot with those tree specimens and all of that. And you know, additionally, we use the same materials. We want to use the plaster, put a metal roof on it. Let's use some of the timber elements as well, which will kind of spill over into the new proposed addition and the carport as well.
But the original style, which was, what did you call it, with the wood?
It's kind of a neo-Tudor, yeah.
Yeah, it was Tudor. I mean, that's more
Tudor,
of
Tudor.
the tile roof like the next door neighbor has now. That used to have a tile roof on it as well,
Yeah.
a terracotta,
Yeah, clay tile.
and so it's going to be a metal roof.
Yeah, those tiles are really, I think that Jonathan, they looked up the pricing of those tiles. They're very expensive, right? Which is the reason kind of giving them to the neighbors.
Yeah. It would have been hard to recreate. I mean, the quality of the tiles really had to do with the top and all that stuff. And it seemed like a nice thing. They needed some for repair, and we got them. So early on, I said, take them.
And you are, for the record?
I'm the property owner.
Okay. Your name?
Jonathan Mensch.
Okay.
Your neighbor must be very,
I hope so. She's great. So, happy to do it.
Questions, concerns? It's a nice application. So just those couple of
Sure.
additional members that we needed. So I'll make a motion that we accept the application subject to receiving the additional renderings. Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
September 17th, will you be available for a public hearing?
And you'd like the renderings before then?
Yes, that would be nice.
Okay, yeah.
2 weeks if we could. We just need a couple. Really, I want to see the front. We want to see the
Right,
front.
yeah.
And the pool.
One of them, yeah, I think they're both simple. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
All right.
So, this application does require site plan review, because Mill Road is scenic road. I don't believe they were on the, last Monday's meeting. Are they on for a meeting soon?
September 15th.
September 15th?
Yeah, and it says, it is a recommendation that the planning board take lead. on
Yeah, they'll
secret.
probably make a seeker action
Yeah.
on that in the next meeting, so we just wanted to wait to see what they do. That would be good.
Yeah, let them do it. Okay, and then, like, just the same referrals to the town,
Yep.
to the planning board and the WAC. And I'll take it. As far as the point contact person.
And did you discuss the public hearing date?
Yeah, September 17th, yeah, we asked if it was okay.
All right.
They said it was. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, our last new application is Andrea Novick, which is case number 1089. Is there somebody? Oh, you. Should have known. I know. So, you're no rookie. Take us through it.
Good evening. Mark Leminski, I'm here representing Andrea Novak. And the purpose of this application is obviously area variance request to the town of Rhinebeck zoning board of appeals, and it's a request for 3 area variances. And what actually drove the application to come to this board is this application is also in front of the town of Rhinebeck planning board. And it is an application for a 3-lot subdivision. And so property is located on the east side of Acrofoot Road. And the total parcel size is 19.9 acres in the area. As I said, so application for subdivision, so it's a three-lot subdivision. What exists on the property now is it's actually the residence for their family. And so,
I'm trying to get it.
yeah,
zoomed in for you.
thanks. Right, so this is parcel 4A, 4B, and 4C. These two parcels are pretty vacant, and this is part of the proposed subdivision. Parcel 4B has main residence, garage, multiple structures. I won't go through all of that. It has multiple structures.
9.
Yeah, a total of nine
Actually,
structures.
Mark, just because that is part of the application for the number of structures, would you mind just briefly pointing them out for the record?
Sure, and so, Kim, if you could actually slide to this side a little bit, because I also include the table. So I made a table for all the accessory structures. And what I did is, I tabulated the total area, the area for each one of the structures and the front setback. Right, so starting, and then I numbered them accordingly on the plan. So there are solar panels located on the property, a farm equipment shed, passive pool heater, shed, garden shed, pool, a guest house office, a hoop house, and a garage and a carport. And so, Kim, if you could zoom out a little bit on that. So, going through there, right, so, starting here, so, I'll try to do in order, right? And what I did is, the order that I set is based on their setback, front setback from Acrofoot Road. Right, so solar panels, here's the equipment shed, this is another shed right here. This is the guest house, here's the pool, here's the passive solar heater, here's a garden shed, here's the hoop house, here's the main residence, and then here's the garage and carport right here.
What's a hoop house? Did you say hoop or pool? What's a hoop house?
It's just raised beds with plastic on top.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And so, so the application in front of this board is threefold, right? So, obviously, there are 9 accessory structures on the property. 8 of them are in front of the principal residence. So that's one area variance application. These all exist, and 8 out of 9 have existing COs. They have COs. The only thing that triggered it was this carport that was added to here. And so the zoning administrator included all the accessory structures and required the applicant to come from this board. So 8 out of 9 are in front of the principal residence. Zoning district is RC5. So you're allowed 3 accessory structures. So the applicant has 9. And then in the RC5 zoning district, you're allowed 3 accessory structures. Total floor area allowed is 1,500 square feet. And so, Kim, if you could just go back to the table, please. So the total area of all the accessory structures is 4,884 square feet. So the applicant is requesting a variance for a total floor area of the accessory structures. So all these structures exist. There's no, and just, presenting to this board, no procedurally what you'd like to see, but there's no need for renderings on this because they all exist.
But you know what we use? Photographs.
Right, and so I'll provide photographs of all the structures. We do have, that's going to be, because it's an ongoing application with the planning board. Planning board has scheduled a public hearing for the 15th. We did do a visual analysis that's going to be included with that. We'll provide that to this board also. Just so you know, these structures are not visible from Aquaport Road, but we'll provide that information to you, and then we'll provide individual photographs of all the structures.
Is the hoop house for, are you a gardener?
Yeah.
Is this a commercial venture?
No,
It's just a hoop house.
it's
I
the
mean,
raised,
I mean, that doesn't even have to be listed.
yeah,
I think it's just,
right,
And just for the record, your name?
I'm Andrea.
Okay, yeah.
I live there.
and are the other structures for gardening mostly as well?
A lot of them, you know, my tractors in one place.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of it's for all the.
But it's all a personal thing, you're not selling,
And I have permission for all these structures. I've already got permission to have all these
oh,
structures.
yeah, sure, no, I understand.
Once again, building permits were issued, and POs were issued for all the structures, with the exception of the carport.
And what happened there?
I was under construction and needed to be finalized, and so when Andrea went to the building department to finalize it, and that's when zoning administrator got involved and decided that this was the route that should be taken as part
Has
of
it been completed or is it still under construction?
No, it's been completed, okay, it just needs to be finalized with the building department.
Yeah, the only thing for me is it's a very complete application as usual. But I just wanted to get photographs, that's all, to show the
Sure.
structures as well.
Right, I'll provide that.
Great.
Questions, concerns? Okay. So,
Everything was done legally, you know.
what's that?
Everything was done legally previously, so.
Well, just to say that I think that they probably did need area variances because the structures out in front. You know, different administrations look at things differently. But, you know, municipality is able to correct its mistake, which I think is what is,
Yeah, there's
Going
probably
on
whoops
here.
on the municipality's part.
could be, yeah. I'm not sure what happened
Not that we're
previously,
casting
but,
blame, but.
but that's, I'm guessing is what prompted it.
Yeah. Is it whoops? Whoopsie doodles. Okay. So anyway, well, thank you very much for a nice, complete application as usual. And I'm going to make a motion that we accept the application subject to getting a bunch of photographs to show the structures and the property and all that stuff.
Okay,
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. thank you.
September 17th?
Yes,
Okay, you'll be here.
yes, I will.
All right, see you then.
Yeah, thank you.
You want the photographs 2 weeks before, right?
2 weeks before, you love it.
You've been listening.
She's been listening, and
She's
somebody
been
listens
listening.
to me. It's amazing. Okay, great.
Thank you.
All right, and I see the planning board is going to take a secret.
Yes, this application was in front of the planning board on Monday evening in my subdivision. And it's an unlisted action, so they will be doing secret with this,
Okay.
but they'll need those ones to do it, and then so ZBA can't issue their final decision until secret's done, but you can certainly be moving forward with the public.
Right, and if we have to, we can continue the public
Yeah, we'll
hearing.
continue it until they're done,
Until they get
and we'll provide updates to the planning board, you
Yep.
know, so that they're aware of what the ZBA is considering.
Yeah, okay. Borough, the plan board already has it. And do I hear Joe
I guess I'm
volunteering? I thought I heard something, maybe I was hallucinating.
That's okay, yeah, it's fine.
Joe, you got this one.
Have you taken one recently?
I just took the one.
Oh, I was out of, no, that's.
Please, the one before Karen. That's right. I mean, we just kind of went right along the road here. Yes, sir.
We got anything from CAB? I mean, I used to be on CAB, and I used to send reports all the time. Is that not happening anymore? or-
So CAP and WAC are essentially the same board, you kind of know, but the WAC is when a project is being developed within the the LWRP. The
This one.
CAB, yeah,
The one before, right?
yeah.
So-
Yeah, all the ones on Mill Road were. So CAB is really for when you're developing an open space. So we do still refer them out to CAB if they're required, but a lot of these aren't really being developed in open space. They're like little sheds, which I wouldn't really consider developing open
Right,
space,
right,
or unlike, again, like if this one were a vacant lot and all those buildings being proposed, that certainly would go to the CAB, but they're already there, so they're not really developing it. That's why I don't think it's needed to be referenced to CAB.
Okay.
But we'll still refer it whenever they need to be.
Can you just clarify what all those acronyms stand for?
Oh, sure. So CAB stands for the Conservation Advisory Board. It's an advisory board with the town of Rhinebeck. And the WAC stands for Waterfront Advisory, right? Waterfront. I feel like there's a consistency somewhere, but it's waterfront is the W. I can't remember exactly.
And the district, and so that's the W.
The LWRP is the local waterfront
Okay.
area, and there's a map. If for anyone who is interested, there is a map on the website. And if you look at it, it's so basically it goes like 1,000 feet from the Hudson River, and it just happens that most of it pretty much runs along Route 9. So I would say I consider LWRP pretty much from Route 9 to the river.
Okay.
And just for clarity, I know Mark had mentioned that it's like 3 variances, which I think in essence they are 3 variances, but each of the structures that are in front really is an area variance. So like the public hearing will say 10 variances, just because again, 8 of those structures are, so just, but it's like essentially 3
Right.
macro, and then when you go into it, so just for clarity.
Alrighty, so that does it for new applications. Next, we're going into the public hearing. And the first matter that is on is case number 1075, Constance Bathrick, Timely Signs. I believe there's somebody here for that.
Yes, it is.
And I think I have to make a motion to reopen the public hearing. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion to reopen the public hearing. Like second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have reopened the public hearing. Is there anybody here for that application? It's a sign in front of a business on Route, it's 3606 Route 9G. Anybody here for that sign? Okay, I always like to ask just to see if anybody's here for any of the other applications, just to let you know, you will, the person does their presentation, and then you are allowed to ask questions of the person, come up and state your opinion, whatever, okay? So we want everybody to have an opportunity to be heard. Take it away.
Okay.
I'm Paul Beckert, I'm from Timely Signs in Kingston, and I'm representing Mr. Baffert and Mrs. Baffert. This is a continuation of a variance that we began under the original ownership of equipment sales and rentals, which was a family business for many years. Mr. Baffert has decided to retire and has leased the property to a different tenant, but is the same use, an equipment rental business. As part of that transition, the sign during the variance process had changed. The name on the sign, the colors, and the content. We also, during that process, had to eliminate a lighted hood because it wasn't allowed in this particular zoning district. So that's where we are today. That's what it looks like.
Did planning have a concern? Did I see something about?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
There was a letter. We can go through it.
Okay, let's
I
go
have a
through it.
copy.
Yeah, just for the record, the planning board did make some observations. I would approve the sign. I don't think they liked it in its current iteration. So, Paul, want to take us through?
Sure. Number one, finds the proposed sign not as consistent with the residential nature of the area as the previously proposed sign offers the following items for consideration by the ZBA. I just want to remind everyone here and the public at large that this has been a commercial operation for, I think, more than 20 years. So while it is technically a residential zone, there are no immediately, I guess there are some adjacent.
Well, they're probably in the back of it.
Yeah, the back of it. It's not, this sign is really not visible from any of the residential areas. It's really the Route 9 corridor.
And if you go up
Yeah.
just a little bit south, you got Warren Property.
Right, yeah, there's some other ones in that zone. The sign design franchise signage, in quotes, does not feel compatible with the location. The sign should be assessed using the town design guidelines. I think we have some flexibility on that. These happen to be the brand colors. There's other organizations that have brand colors, Rudy's, Subaru. I don't think there was we were somewhat involved in that, as was Mark Rominski, who left. I don't know that there was any objections to the Subaru logo. I mean, this happens to be, a different, cat. There is a banner currently in place that we received a temporary sign permit for because the ownership did change hands in the process of the variance, so we were able to put that up. Those colors are very accurate to what the actual colors are. So, I mean, there was some concern about the vibrancy of the yellow and the intensity of the red. If you take a look at that, I think you'll see that it's not as intense as it does look like in the color renderings that are projected on an RGB monitor. The phone number should not be permitted on the sign. Are those specifically, I guess I would ask the planning board, is that specifically outlined that that's not allowed to be on a sign?
I don't believe it's specifically stated, I think that was just.
Okay, so it's not prohibited. This is a suggestion.
I can double check, but I don't believe I see anything about phone numbers.
Okay. The item C, the 5-pound wrap material does not appear to be permitted by code. They're asking for wood posts. Is there I understand the traditional nature or the desire to have a traditional looking sign in a residential district. However, is there a prohibition on composite materials or any type of fiber cement siding? Is there a mandate in these residential areas to use natural wood materials?
Not that I'm aware of, but again, that's typically not our bailiwick. That's
Okay.
the planning board.
Okay, because to
We do
require it,
variances.
right, to require all natural wood materials on a sign but allow it on the building seems somewhat odd because the sign is such a minor element. And having a maintenance-free sign that continues to look good year over year, I think is preferable to having something that needs to be painted every couple of years. We can speed up with a weed whacker.
I think that was only a suggestion.
I'm just wondering.
Well, it says it does not appear to be permitted by code, but you ought to get some kind of.
Yeah, and I've been told by the zoning enforcement officer that vinyl post wraps or is not allowed. And that was the last application. So.
You can't put a sleeve on it.
This is, yes, that's what they're saying. All signage on site, if there is any other, there isn't. The lettering on the areas should be signed to assess for consistency. I will be reaching out to Brian Tam to provide him with a calculation of the lettering, and I do believe it falls within that 60% threshold. And if it doesn't, we will make it. But, I'm fairly certain that it's permitted. Any other questions?
Gretchen, did we receive anything from Dutchess Planning Board, Dutchess County Planning Board? I don't remember seeing it, but I thought you might have mentioned it was like matter of concern.
I'm pretty sure.
Scott, do you want to close the public hearing and we'll discuss this, or do you want to discuss?
I don't know if we should or not. I mean, I think we want to get we want to have some communication with the planning board. I was going to ask him about that. How long is the temporary sign good for? Is it 30 days, 60 days? I forget. what
It's
the
good
next
for
day.
30 days. We will have to renew it. I don't know if it's consecutive. There's a $50 fee, which is refundable, up to 30 days. If I go to 31 days, they get to keep the $50. So I don't know where we are, to be quite honest with you. I think I have probably maybe 5 or 6 days left. I can ask Brian if this continues and you want to leave the public, I'm sure the owner will pay another $50 to have for another 30 days.
And do we have the power to waive that? Do we possibly have
I don't think so. I'm not sure. It's not really the zoning board issue about like fees and stuff. It's not really within, I know you guys are quasi-judicial, but I don't think you're going
Well,
to the fee
just kind of
schedules.
thinking of fairness, that's all.
Yeah.
You know, these issues came up and legitimately because the sign totally
Yeah, it changed.
Totally changed. It's not your
No
fault.
one's disputing that.
And it's not your fault. I
Yeah.
mean, there was a sale and.
But, regarding, I don't necessarily think the planning board's gonna have any more comments. I think that I wasn't at Monday's meeting, but from what I understand, John Lyons was there and he kind of said that this is kind of, where the planning board is. I don't think they necessarily have any more comments. My only the only suggestion I would have for considering to keep the public hearing open is if you are concerned about the design and you wanna ask for so one thing that Paul just mentioned was that the colors might not be as vibrant. I know, Richard, you had mentioned that as one of your concerns at the last meeting. You might want, maybe if you want to keep the public hearing open, take a look at what the sign looks like, the temporary banner up. But I would say just, if you have any concerns that you want to have any, I know Paul mentioned there might be some flexibility to change the sign. If you're asking for any changes to the sign, I would recommend keeping the public hearing open so that the applicant can redesign it while the public hearing is still open.
I think we should keep it open.
Yeah, no, I think we should keep it, just to explore those issues.
Who designed the sign? Did you design it?
No.
No, it's a corporate thing, isn't
Well,
it?
is the whole, well, I understand the logo is, but that whole thing is a logo. It isn't the logo, I don't think. I mean, there's a lot more to that sign than just the logo of, can we put it up again? Sure.
Is the sign that's there now, that's the temporary sign?
Right,
I mean,
that's,
Yeah, there's a temporary sign
Okay, that's
on
not
a
that
much, much older version of Rhinebeck Rentals, which is faded out. And it happened just to be a freestanding structure that was easy enough for us to put that temporary on there while we were trying to get this so that they could, at least, I think corporate required them to have some type of branding on the place so that it was not unbranded. So that's. So that whole thing is their brand, the Decker, the Cat, the rental store, different typefaces, different colors. That is their logo? That is what they use. They have a number of rental places throughout the Hudson Valley, up and down the Hudson River corridor, I think as far down as Wappingers and.
It's definitely a lot more modern than anything we have on the streets. I mean, there's something about it that, listen, I'm saying it as a design, it works, but as where we want to put it amongst everything else, maybe it doesn't, is all I'm saying.
Has anybody seen the banner or driven past
I
the
didn't, listen, we all have, beauty is the eye
But
of the
what's there
beholder.
now is not,
What
is not
they're,
the final product.
well, it's
I
similar
mean,
to that, yeah.
it's printed using the exact same technology as we would the final sign. It just happens to be on a flexible banner material that is temporarily fastened to an existing structure.
And so,
Is this is the one that you, you don't have it now?
Yeah, I did provide a picture to
This is
the.
sign.
Yeah, that sign now has a banner on it.
Kara had a
Richard's
question,
gonna-
I don't think it was answered, so.
yeah, I just think it's worth, the way it looks now is a bit concerning, but the way it looks in your drawing looks very smart, even though it doesn't really match other things. The sort of the posts look like part of the vernacular. So maybe we need to see the real sign instead of compelling as the one with the guy standing next to it. You know, that, yeah, so, I mean, that, you know, that with some plantings around it is, doesn't look that out of place.
Richard, I can address, that is their logo. I don't know.
Ma'am, could you come on up and
Sure.
state your name and then
Hi,
you
I'm
can-
Cornelia Gallo. I don't know about the phone number, but their letterhead is the orange, the cat, and the rental. So that is like on all their invoices and everything. So,
Thank you.
just so you know.
My sense is, look, we've got a lot of dialogue about signs, and it's my understanding now that there's a committee in place that is going through signage. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes,
Well, that's
there's
only
a-
for Astor Square, I think.
Well, no,
there's a zoning review committee that's currently working on a few changes. One of them will be the sign regulations based on the concerns from the ZBA in the past.
And that's more because along the corridor, the commercial corridor, very tiny signs are allowed, and we're always giving variances, and it doesn't make any sense because people are going by 55 miles an hour, and all the signs there are, you know, much larger than they need to be so people can see them. So that's really what that committee, which I'm on actually,
Yeah, that's what I said.
is considered just allowing larger signs in that particular area.
So I appreciate that, and I appreciate the collaboration that sounds like it's going to happen to try to have some more standardization to our signs. With this application, for me personally, I mean, it's the brand. And so it's not up for me to decide what their brand looks like. If you're saying that the colors are actually more muted as opposed to this, I mean, that seems to me to make sense and be compliant in that space. I mean, if you look at all the signage in our community, I mean, our site visit on Saturday, when I drove back into Rhinebeck, there was a series of signs. And I'm like, okay, how did that pass muster? And so I just, for this, me personally, it makes sense. Unless it's not to code, like I don't understand why you can't, why you would have to use wood or posts, which is.
Well, they didn't say, they didn't give an actual, they said, does not appear to be permitted by code. That's hardly, it is not, and here's the section.
Yeah, I can't remember, when I spoke to.
And that makes no sense to me, why, again.
Yeah, when I spoke to Jim Levy, you know, on another matter, but I knew that this was, you know, I knew that they had provided comments, so I wanted to ask about it. And he said, and I haven't looked at the sign regulations recently, so I can certainly double check, but his reading of it was that wood sign is what's required. I'm not sure, I'd have to check, I'm not.
I'd like to know what's in that corridor. Are they all wood signs? I don't think they are.
I don't know.
I think it's a mixed bag. I think
Yeah,
they're not all
the Ruby sign,
Yeah,
that's a break down the street.
Yeah, mo-
But
most-
also Ruby was in another district, though, I believe, right?
I understand.
Ruby's in the RC, I mean, it's.
I know it's in another district, it's right down the street.
Is Rhinebeck equine in the rural, in the same district as,
I'm not sure, I can check it out, I'm not.
because we
it
just,
might be,
we just completed that project.
Yeah, that might be,
And,
I'd
and
have to.
and that is definitely wood signs. That particular property and their brand is a lot more traditional in nature, as opposed to, you know, large, giant, yellow, construction. Yeah, it's just
Traditional
different.
is a good word,
Yeah.
good adjective. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, it's a softer appeal. It's more rural because, you know, it's horses.
This is not traditional.
It really is.
But it's their logo, as you said, it's their
Yeah.
brand. Who are we to say?
Well, I do want to just say that, you know, so one of the things that you are looking for in an area variance is there's a detriment to the character surrounding area. yes, it's on Route 9G, yes, it's in a residential zone. So you've got a little bit of a balance, but
It's in a residential zone, but there's no residences there. They may be
Yes.
back off of Wood Road, but you go just right up the road. I live right around. You go right up the road, you get more covered, and they have their little thing there. You go the next door over, you got Roots, and they have their something. And then you got the mobile station, and you got this, and you got that, and everything else. To me, and it's, again, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, it doesn't offend me.
And I do
But-
just want to just comment too briefly though. So again, there's not a requirement, yes or no in the code about like if it's, this is what the branding is, that has to be, or this is what the branding is, it doesn't have to be. But just to say that municipalities do have the ability to request district signs in corporate. They usually do get met with headwind, but that is, there have been designs that, are outside of what corporate typically does. I'm just saying that it is within your authority if you like it, and if you decide to not go for that, that's fine too. But I just wanted to say that you can consider that.
And the suggestion that perhaps you remove the telephone, I don't have a problem with that. But I think, the Decker, the cat, the rental, me personally, everybody has a different view and preference. It doesn't bother me, and I think it's fine, especially given the area where it is. I mean, you wouldn't be here unless they were unfortunately in the residential area.
Well, they probably would still, as you mentioned, there
Well,
will be
because of the
business
size.
signs.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yep, I think too, and I appreciate the planning board's comments, so, I mean, it's part of the process.
Yeah.
I mean, we are talking about whether the design is appropriate or offensive or anything. I do want to let the public in general know that there have been 2 public mailings. The first one with equipment sales and rentals, and then a second one for this. So the surrounding people that may or may not be affected have been notified. And anyone who was interested could have made a statement or showed up or contacted.
I know we have received no information from anybody as far as a letter or an email or anything else. And again, is there anybody here for this application? Okay, just want to make sure. What?
Hi, Scott. I was at the meeting filming, and I think the objection to it, which I share because I drive by there all the time, was just the design of the sign, not the material. But, Rhinebeck stands for fonts. This guy does a great job, so no dissing of anybody, but it doesn't feel to me like a Rhinebeck sign. The fonts or rental, the cat in there, it doesn't have a Rhinebeck vibe. And I think that was essentially what the planning board had said at that time. It's not a hill I want to die on, even though I drive by and I don't love the way it looks. That's my feeling on that sign. Maybe change the colors a little bit or lose the phone number, but it doesn't feel Rhinebeck to me. It just feels like kind of yucky corporate.
The only thing that I would be a little bit, the phone number is I think, something I could see removing with the rest of it. But again, we're all different.
That's my opinion.
And could you identify?
I'm Steve
yourself?
Deere. I'm a local resident. I've been filming these meetings, so it's.
But yes, the sign is, but as we were saying, it's somebody's brand. So who are we to say, if we accept the company to come in, we have to accept their brand.
Well, you
we
don't have
don't.
to, that's
We
what I'm
don't
saying,
have
is
to.
that you don't
Okay.
have to.
This-
You can certainly
this is a-
consider it, but
this
you're
is-
not, you don't have to say, this is what mobile looks like, and,
It's,
listen, corporate is going to be asking.
Opinion on this?
as a graphic
No,
design.
No, I'm just here for your,
As a
just
graphic
to say that
design.
you do have the authority to say, I want a different sign, even though that's corporate.
As a graphic design, it's a terrific graphic design, and it does not fit in with everything else around. But again, I mean, it does not offend me, but I know that it's different. That's all I know.
Well, most of the signs are different. All along the board,
Well-
they're different. They're not, there's no uniformity really.
No.
They don't. Look at Dell's. Right.
What about, is the Optimum sign, is that Rhinebeck?
Aha.
Fine.
I didn't do it, I didn't do it.
I know.
That's why I'm asking.
No, it's interesting.
I didn't know if
You're
they got
right,
opposition
you're
from it, if
You're
someone
right.
came in and permitted it. It's very modern, it's very bright, it's orange. On a relatively traditional looking building. We did Mid-Hudson Medical Group, and that was much more subdued colors. And we tried to keep it close. I mean, again, if someone gave me this project, this is not what I would have designed. You saw what I did the last time, and then even that was, it was really, you know, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it wasn't this. But, you know, I have to represent the client. This is part of a larger organization where consistency of brand matters in a relatively competitive, you know, rental market. There's Volvo Rents, there's Partner, there's United, there's so many places buying, and, you know, the Hudson Valley is a huge construction area right now, and their brand matters to them. You know, the phone number is important to them, but I mean, if that's something that you guys want, a lever that you need to pull, I understand it. But, you know, we would obviously prefer to have it.
It would make it less busy and a little less, I don't want to say cheesy, but, you know, that's just my opinion, we all have it.
So, let
me just say this, I think, you know, the more we're getting into this, the more I think, you know, I think we can close the public hearing, and then we can start talking amongst ourselves as to what we're gonna do with this. Maybe there's some amendments to please enough people to either pass or not pass, but at least we can make a decision.
The only thing is that I would say that if you want amendments, you might, I mean, I don't know if you want to keep the public hearing open in case there's changes so that we have the ability to, I mean, now you're
Well,
right, you are right that nobody has come for this so far, so.
Well, we could keep the public hearing open with the understanding that the public hearing, you know, depending on how we talk to each other and make a decision or not make a decision, after that we could close it and then have a resolution, right?
Yeah.
So you don't leave it time.
Yeah, I think what's critical is that there's a path to completion of the sign, whether it's amended or as is.
Yeah.
That's important to the customer.
Well, I think
to
maybe
me.
it's important for us to talk it out a little bit.
No, I understand. I just want to know, like, the first thing they're going to ask me is, when can I get my sign? So what is the timeline from when you have to have another meeting on the 17th?
If we have another meeting on the 17th, we can do this, we've done this before, so you're not held up. Keep the public hearing open just in case anything pops up, okay, then we can address it. And then close the public hearing, but also have a resolution ready on that
Okay.
that
Fair
same
enough.
evening versus waiting the 30 or 62 days or whatever after we close it.
So correct me if I'm wrong, did I hear you say that initially you were leaning towards closing the public hearing, and now you're thinking?
So I think it gives us flexibility to keep it open, but again, with the understanding that we will have a resolution ready at the next meeting on the 17th.
So may I ask a suggestion then? So one of the things that we were talking about was, for example, taking the number down, taking the phone number off. Would you like to see a rendering of that from the applicant?
Sure,
So that they, would that
I
be
mean,
a
that's-
possibility?
It's definitely. Yeah, so,
No,
Yes, it's very easy to do.
I don't want to be
Very easy.
expending
No,
the applicant's money.
there's no money involved in that.
Okay,
So
that's what I was.
if the numbers off, and if you were saying the colors are slightly more subdued, then maybe we can see that.
Maybe show like a more realistic rendering if you could, of the colors as you mentioned.
Sure. I mean, I can bring printed
Well, maybe,
material
yeah,
and hand it to you.
Bring in the
I can
sign.
drop it off.
Just anything like the board suggesting, if you can provide perhaps, you know, what the sign will look like, that they'll be able to support.
Sure. I'm happy to.
Am I right in thinking that the main issue is the variance with the size of the sign, Right.
Yes.
That's what we came here for.
That,
Yeah.
and have they been given that variance?
No.
No, okay, so that's
Oh, I
the
forgot.
big thing, and then making it more appealing is sort
Yeah.
of part of that consideration.
I would go the other way. We routinely grant variances for larger signs because the law does not allow for appropriate sized signs. So that is almost beautiful, right? I don't know when we've ever denied that. But I think what it really, the most important thing here is what it looks like and is it tasteful enough for our Tony town.
As we begin to conclude this discussion, just so I get clarity, then what I'm hearing is that Kim is going to draft a draft resolution for this because we're going to be prepared to move forward on our
On the
next.
17th.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we get the flexibility of continuing to deal with this, and then Paul's client gets the
You're gonna
resolution.
pay $50 and then, yeah.
At this point, that's
Yeah,
not a problem.
it's not 5,000.
So just a question, because I know that Kara had mentioned, some of the landscape, like in this picture you have plantings, or you have proposing plantings?
We
'Cause I didn't think
we
the other
don't do
one-
that. I can encourage the,
Oh, there's no
I can
plantings.
encourage the client to do that. I think that they're of the mind that they do want it to look nice, and if you wanted to put that in the resolution, that could help the case.
So you're not Acme sign and planting?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's something showing little things at the bottom there, that's.
We usually do that to encourage.
Yeah.
I found that ZBAs and planning boards like to see that.
Plant's good.
I would do it on my side.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I think we milked it.
You had enough? You had enough? We've all had enough.
Oh, yes, there's one more.
I know.
Oh, yes.
All right,
That's
so
later.
I'm going to make a motion, given the discussion that we've had, to continue the public hearing until the 17th, with the understanding that we will have a resolution ready on that date. And so I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All righty.
Can I
You
also
can be
get,
here on the 17th?
sure,
Okay.
can I also get some clarity on the pole wraps?
Yes, I will take a
Because
look.
if it has to be wood, then
Okay, yep, I will take a look at that. So before the ZBA moves on to another matter, I guess my question is, I'm getting the sense drafted in the affirmative?
Affirmative, but
Yes.
we're going to have some changes.
Okay,
Perhaps getting the phone number. I think we should look into the concern about the wrap material and see whether that is actually even a consideration, because it really
Doesn't make sense.
it doesn't make sense.
It's not,
okay.
Okay.
it really doesn't.
So just, if you could just, regarding the impact of the first factor that the board looks at is character of the neighborhood. So, because it's kind of gone, Richard has mentioned that it looks maybe not quite Rhinebeck, or busy. You mentioned it's branding, so can I get a little bit more, you have to have an agreement,
Look
but
at the
just what
signs
you're.
in the area. I mean, I think we can go back to what was done by Mark Kaminsky when he did the Ruby's thing. And he did a beautiful analysis of all the
I
signs.
still
in the
have one.
quarter.
It's a great thing.
It's a great thing, and you can see the different signs, the sizes, and everything else. And to me, it doesn't change the character of the neighborhood in any way, shape, or form. That's my opinion. Just one person's opinion. And then all those signs, I think, really support that. The buildings on either side, and all the ones around. And there's no houses there. I mean, I think they're on Way Road.
There's not much potential to build anything right around it.
No,
Anyway,
you'll
so
never
It's not
have a
like you're
residential.
suddenly gonna be going along the road and there'll be a million signs.
It's not a corner.
Is that what you need?
Yes, and anything else the board wants to say? like I said, I always write the resolutions in your voice, and any decision.
What, I think we'll, maybe what the direction is in affirmative, but
Yeah,
I think
we'll
we're
leave
probably,
it.
we're gonna have some changes,
Sure,
I
yeah,
would-
of course.
I would suspect.
They do
Not
it
major, I
like,
mean-
like Davis and Monroe are huge plans, right? When they built their buildings, right?
Who did?
Davis and Monroe, I know they're on Route 9,
Oh.
but they're like,
They're not far away.
they're not far away. They're not Rhinebeck, right? You might say.
You can go up the street and we had the big thing with the monument sign with rubies, which just looks lovely. but-
Yeah.
It's somehow unique to the rest of it.
It's a little bit like the Amtrak sign by the Rhinecliff station that got changed from what Amtrak initially put there, because that is clearly a residential
Right.
area, and that sign, the original sign looked very out of place. And so
And-
that was a more stark contrast.
And that's a great example, because you're right in the residential area, and that makes sense. Here, you're like in the middle of no man's land with a couple other businesses, so that,
All right.
you got enough. Hold on. Have you rested enough?
Okay, let's,
Oh, well, we can drive by. I've driven by it.
All right.
We've driven by it.
let's go.
Well, I've driven by it, so, I mean, already, but every day. Okay. All right.
All right.
Have you gathered yourself?
Yeah.
You ready? Okay. So case number 1083, Arch Care, Ferncliff. Come on up. Is there anybody here for that application?
So you did receive a couple
I did receive a
comments.
letter, and I'll mention that. Okay, I received, actually, I think it was today, did I get it? Okay. Yeah, I got a letter from Susan Cobb, who lives at 125 Ryan Road in Rhinebeck. A letter dated August 20th, 2025, talking about her opinion of the sign at issue. And it is very clear that she is against it.
Well, it's really not relative, because it's just, I think the signs that we're talking about are inside, which she said. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think she's also talking about the one outside too. Well, it doesn't, people are entitled to have their opinions whether they live in the area or not. So, anyway, I just wanted to make the record clear that we do have some opposition to this application from Susan Koff. The letter will be made part of the record. Okay.
And I do think seems like a lot of her comments are geared towards more the sign on the road, which you've already received a variance for. And she did mention that if it was internal, she would have the same concerns. And she just raised concerns about the condition of the gatehouse, which isn't before us, but she did provide pictures, just of the sign again at the road, and then the condition of the gatehouse, which she raised concerns about.
It was a very well-done letter with
Yes.
exhibits and everything else, and I applaud her for her efforts. We will consider it will be part of the record. All right.
You seem to be on a roll with red signage
Not certainly not by choice. It's not a color that I use very often.
and branding.
So, just to be clear, these signs are already in place. They have been installed. They were replacements, maintenance-free replacements from an earlier project dating back to 2004, maybe 2005. There was some mention, there was something on here overall, this is from the planning board, overall the amount of signage installed feels excessive. Recently approved change to the neighboring T-Port property will result in access to Arch Care only being provided from the entrance onto the road where there is already a permitted sign, which required and received a variance from the ZBA. Thank you. As such, in the near future, our shared driveway will only lead to the building and interior directional signage seems unnecessary. Additionally, the number of drive slowly signs seems excessive and could be reduced.
Well, we have not been out there for a site inspection, so we'll be able to determine whether
Okay.
those concerns are
Sure.
out there or not.
At the previous meeting, you had asked me to go and look to make sure that everything in this application was accurate and still on the site. It is, and there's no other further signage that isn't represented in this.
Were
Now-
these replacements for signs that were already there?
Yes, they are.
So there's no increase in signs?
No. They're all the same exact size.
And as I recollect, because I was around for 2014.
Yeah, I remember. I remember it well.
And I think that was a wooden sign that was always.
Yeah, they were wood and they just wore out. They
Yeah.
were wood posts.
Yeah. And let me guess, are these wood posts?
No, they're aluminum. Aluminum isn't prohibited.
They're not allowed.
Just fine lines is allowed. Maybe, we have to
Aluminum's the
check.
answer.
Most of
Anyway.
the signs on the, for Rugies, Ford, all of those are aluminum, but it's just a lot easier for the archdiocese not to have to spend the money maintaining them year over year. While they say, I mean, the only one that I could say that the planning board is correct in the change to, I guess, the traffic flow and that being cut off would be, go back one. Yeah, just to here. This directional sign is at a turn in the road where you would either go straight onto, I guess, T Court. I've never been down that road, but I mean, right there is
T Court's farther
you
down.
take that left to go right into the Ferncliff circular drive. And there's a directional there to send people into the parking lot. There's 2 parking lots off of there, so I would really dispute that there is a need for directional signage, specifically for patient drop-off, and there's 2 other parking areas, and those both have different entrances, I believe. And that's further down in the presentation, but regardless, all of these signs are within the property, not visible from any road. I don't believe that they're excessively sized. They're not much larger than a standard 12 by 18 or
Again,
parking
they
sign.
replaced older signs.
Yeah.
They're the same size, same placement,
Same place, yeah.
and same language.
Same language, yes.
English. Well, what I was getting at, they say the same thing. Wording, that's
Yeah,
about
I
it.
know.
Who's gotta be wise?
Could be Latin.
Maker.
So, yeah.
No. This is serious business, Richard. All right, so, well, we're gonna do a site inspection, obviously, but, again, anybody here for this application? I think we know what we're dealing with here.
Okay.
Okay, my preference is to close the public hearing and do the site inspection and take it from there. Any thoughts about my plan? Kim?
No.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so,
And let me get this straight, are you using the same plantings on this sign as the last sign?
Yeah, absolutely, it's the same file. Do you know how long I've had that file? I've had it since 2003, that was on the original plans. I'm still using it. Great, right?
Great,
Goes well.
Because if
But then they block the sign, Richard, and then, you know, they get called, they come and pull them out.
by the way, we like to have a little bit of levity. This can be dry, but we do take this very seriously. Yes, we want to make sure we're aware of it, just because we have a little fun, doesn't mean we don't take it seriously. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to make, any questions, concerns? Okay, there's nobody here from the public, so I'm going to make a motion that we close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and what does that mean? You know what that means. We have 62 days to render a decision.
62 days, thank you
We
very
will do
much.
that beforehand. We'll probably have a resolution, a copy of a resolution by the next meeting. And in the interim, we will come over and do a site visit, we should probably.
Do you schedule it this or do it during?
Yeah, we should, well, I guess we could do it, you can do a drive-through, is that, or would you like us to contact you and you can take us through the things? It's up to you. A lot of times what we do is we do it on a Saturday and we do a couple. But we can also kind of just drive through the place too. That's-
I mean, it's not difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah, just take a look. Yeah, absolutely. I don't, anyone can drive in there. Don't worry, I'll be back.
We'll have our opportunity.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you. All right, so I guess Gretchen will just, everybody, do you drive through and we'll take it from there. It's fine. I think it's fine. It's just replacing the old signs. And it's the same lettering, I mean, it's different as far as the color and things like that. But it says the same stuff, there's no additional signs, it's the same size. Dollars to donuts, potential we're going to find outside inspection, these directional signs are needed, and especially, the kind of, there's people going through there who may not be familiar with the area, they're going to see a loved one, maybe they're out of town, blah, blah, blah. So you need the signs to make sure that people safely go through. But we'll see. So my direction to you, Kim, and I want everybody else to speak up because it's not my show. I'm leaning toward the things fine.
Without a doubt. Yep.
Subject to the site inspection.
What influence would that letterhead,
What, we'll consider it certainly. Yeah.
I just think the letter really said she didn't have much to say if the signs were not visible from River Road. And they're not. They're inside the property, and I think Sue Koff would be fine with it. Her main concern was the gatehouse, which is really something.
Well, but that's not.
Yeah, I understand
That's separate, so.
Okay.
Okay. Alrighty, next public hearing, and this is, I think, a continuation here, Joseph Spur.
Yes.
Okay. So the next case on is case 1081, Jennifer Josephsberg, and I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Alrighty, so it's opened up, and is there somebody here for the Josephsberg? No?
She's not. She was gonna talk to you about the site visit.
Oh, she didn't mention that at the site visit.
So, I can provide some details. So,
Okay.
at the last month's meeting, public hearing was open. If you will recall, the planning board referral, raised a lot of questions. If Ms. Josephberg needed a planning board approval, it was suggested perhaps wetlands permit or site plan review. There was some confusion from the applicant. She kind of thought she was kind of close to being finished, and to find out she needed more applications. So I did speak to Brian Tan, the zoning enforcement officer, and Jim Levy, who is the planning consultant for the planning board, and it was confirmed that she will need a wetlands permit from the town. She does have New York State DEC permit. She does have wetlands on her property, and the construction is within the adjacent area of the, not in the wetlands, but, you can see that she has quite a few wetlands on her property. So DEC did review the application. She does have a permit from DEC. Rhinebeck has their own wetlands permit, so that's why she needs that. Again, it's within 100 feet of the wetland buffer, so she'll need wetlands permit. She does not need site plan review. And speaking with Jim Levy, Ms. Josephberg has already met with the planning board in a pre-con, so he's moving forward with wetlands permit. And I believe when I spoke to Gretchen, she's on the September 2nd agenda, so she's moving forward, getting her
Should we
permit.
put this on to the 17th after the planning board session?
Yeah, I think that's, the benefit to keeping it open is that, in case she needs to change anything or redesign it from the planning board, she's able to make those changes, and then the board, the ZBA board, can adjust the variances that are are needed or not needed. You know, if you would like, since, you know, it hasn't been in front of the planning board, you know, you can grant the variances, as we had discussed at the last meeting, but she can't move forward anyway without those permits. She can't get a building permit or CO. Doesn't really gain anything from just having the ZBA except for knowing she has it. And I could provide a comment to the planning board that ZBA had raised no issues, which we discussed at the last
And we
meeting.
can do the same thing, that we just did here, and that is to put over the public hearing, presumably
Have a
close it on the
resolution
17th and
ready.
have the resolution ready.
Yeah, yeah, and she, like I said, she might not, I don't know, she probably, well, she'll probably need a public hearing for wetlands permit, I believe, so she'll probably, I'm not sure, because usually it's with site plan. I'm not sure if she would be granted any approvals at the September 2nd meeting, but we can certainly keep it open, and then
We'll
we
have a
can
better
adjust
idea
it.
of what they're, where they're going.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all
Yep.
that stuff, so.
Sounds like everybody's on the same page.
Yes, that was, I think, what was important from the last meeting, is just understanding. So everyone's now on the same page, and she's moving forward with what she needs.
And just, we did a site inspection on Saturday, and, yeah, they just put in the pool in the same place. The cabana doesn't take up a whole lot of space, it's right next to the pool, it's nice, and you see it collected, so I think, my opinion is fine.
Mine too, I just don't understand why if the DEC says it's okay, why would you have to get a town?
The town has
Yeah,
their own
the-
regulations, they
Yeah,
can be
so
stricter.
basically with the town's
But
regulations.
who has the actual bottom line?
They both do.
They both do.
That's, yes,
So if one says it's okay and one says it's not okay.
that is not okay, because she would need both permits.
Out of curiosity, does anybody know why the town doesn't defer to the city? You would think.
That's what I think.
It's not uncommon for towns to have their own wetlands. A lot of times the reason for that is because, you know, DEC is a state, you know, so they kind of might not have quite, you know, boots on the ground, if you will, or kind of know the area.
Okay, fair enough.
So, and, you know, actually, some municipalities even have their own environmental review standards. So, you know, we do in Speakers, some other towns have their own standards. So it's just a way for having a little bit more localized, just to make sure they understand
That
how
makes
things are
sense.
It
working.
does.
Yeah.
I agree.
So in this case, wetlands, for town of Rhinebeck wetlands permit, if there's any sort of disturbance within the area, the wetlands or the buffer, if they need it, so that's just what's
It's just
required.
too bad she didn't know 6 months ago.
Well, we're getting there. So I guess at this point, I'd make a motion that we continue the public hearing until the 17th, with the understanding that we'll have a resolution prepared. I think it should be affirmative, but I defer to my colleagues as to what they think.
I think we all agree.
Okay, and I'll keep in touch with the planning board, after the September 2nd meeting and figure out what direction they're going for, and then we'll also, in addition to them having an idea of where we're going, which I'll relay to them, we'll have a better idea of where they're going in case there's gonna be any sort of issues with the placement.
Thanks, Jim.
All righty, we're getting there. The next public hearing is case number 1084, Justin and Andrea Tobin. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I made a motion that we continue the public hearing. Is there a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, here we go.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Barnett.
Barnett and Water and Van Water on behalf of Mr. Tobin, who's also present. As the board will recall, this is a relatively de minimis variance, and it's just one variance, area variance, where this shed is a few feet in front of the principal residence, and so what it's required is a variance that I think it's in the
68.
yeah, 68 feet, which reflects approximately a 15% variance from where it otherwise would be. Just also so the board's aware, there's really no other, you'll see there's a stone wall that kind of fits around it, so it really can't be moved in any feasible way. It's relatively small, it's certainly within the character of the neighborhood. I believe the neighbors on both sides also have sheds that are in front of the principal residence. When the house was renovated, and the shed was there was actually, a building inspector did actually go out, inspected the property, and at that particular time, there was no indication that this was a problem or a violation of any way. So obviously, when it came to the attention of the owner for the first time through the notice, that's what compelled us to come and get this variance.
Kyle, is this up on the top of the hill?
It is.
It's way, way back.
Way.
We drove by it on the way to
Oh,
Jennifer
okay.
Josephson's, Josephsburg house. It was, as we were going in, it was on the left. Trees. Way up on the hill.
Way up on the hill, set way far, far back. It's further back than the neighbors.
I give a good picture.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
and that's where you see it.
Is that from Wade Road?
Yes. So that's really all I got.
Not much more to say.
I don't recall the previous owners having
Okay,
a shed.
sir, can you come on up and state your name
Can
and
I speak
everything?
from here?
You can say, you can, absolutely from there, but if you just
My
state your
name's
name.
Alan Klein.
And where do you live?
I'm here with my wife Helen Brown.
Okay,
We're at 145 Ware Road,
okay,
the adjoining property.
okay.
I don't recall the previous owners having a shed in that location.
Yeah, they may not have. So the current owners, they renovated the house, and when they renovated the house, that's when they put the shed there. And then, as I indicated before, the building inspector came, took a look at everything, and signed off on it at that particular point.
Our concern is that if they didn't contact the zoning board previously, and there's another case where they didn't, we don't know what's next. We're a little concerned about these owners.
I'm not sure how to address that.
Well, I can tell you this, that each case we look at on its own because each property is unique. And so this is not going to be a precedent for other properties in the area because each property is different.
No, but we're just concerned about this property.
Okay.
We're concerned about this property.
Okay.
Basically, we have two Adirondack chairs right along the edge, because and we have a beautiful view, which is, I guess we cannot complain about views, that's not really relevant. But there is an obstruction now, which wasn't there before. And it's just sad that this came up to us, and we were completely unaware. It's sad that they didn't speak to us and just tell us, this is what we plan.
And I don't know exactly what happened, but it is common for people to put things in place or have a contractor put things in place and nobody knows about the zoning law. And it's found out later, the contractor probably should have told them or whatever, but the mistakes are made, unfortunately.
And that's precisely what happened here, Chair, because, like I said, the building inspector actually went out and inspected the entire property and did not bring any issues to the attention of the owner.
Which does happen when people make mistakes, governmental officials make mistakes, and perhaps that should have been picked up first time around. But a lot of times at least in my experience, there's not a maliciousness here. There's just a lack of knowledge. And a lot of times a lack of knowledge on the contractor who you're paying, who should know, because the homeowner doesn't.
Right.
And could I get your name again? I know you
I'm
guys
Paula
are.
Brown, my
Okay.
husband is Alan Klein.
Okay. And you guys live again,
145 Ware
is
Road.
that across the street or?
No,
Right,
it's right- you
right
can
on the
see
other
our
side of that
border.
tree line.
Okay.
I don't know if you have an overview of the whole
Yeah,
of parcel access.
I do.
May I ask a question?
So here's where I think those neighbors are, here's their house,
Right.
here's their shed.
Right.
As you can see, it's also, and then this house and this shed is way back here, right there.
Right.
May I ask a question? Can you see it from your house? Can you see the shed from your house?
So as Helen said, so we have two Adirondack chairs facing due west. Further up our property
which sits just below their house and the shed that they're talking about. The shed doesn't get in our way.
Right now, in the winter, it's not in the way, but it will be very visible in the winter. Right now, there's foliage that kind of hides it, for which we're grateful,
Right.
so.
And may I ask, you could see the shed, but then you could also see the house? Am I understanding that correctly, just by?
Yeah, we can, yeah, but the house.
So you could see both?
Yeah, but the house was nothing new. But the house, even the house has been there. It was
Right.
owned by some,
Vicky and,
The former
Yeah.
owners of Four Brothers Pizza.
Stephanopoulos.
Stephanopoulos, right.
And the house hasn't really changed shape, so it's been there. And
It's
so
been
we're-
enlarged, but it's, I mean,
Thank you.
And can I ask a question? We're gonna go out and do a site visit. That's what
Okay.
we always do. We always go out and do a site visit. After the public hearing, we do a site visit, because we
Okay,
want to
sure.
hear the concerns of folks, and that'll be in our ears when we go and do the site inspection. Would it be possible for us to come to your
absolutely, love you
place
to.
to get, to see what, get your viewpoint, because that's
Sure.
always important.
You should do that also.
A site visit would be great.
Right. Ladies-
Right, but also, we typically just do it from the applicant's property, but I think in this case, it might make some sense to come onto your property if you'll have us,
Yeah.
so we can see what your, your complaints are.
Yeah, sure.
It's just the part, so we'll go to the applicant's property first, then, and then we'll go.
Just let us know when.
Yeah,
Next.
just,
Right.
And,
You want to send me down name and phone numbers?
Yeah, you can give it to Gretchen.
Okay.
We don't want to put
Right.
it out publicly on camera here, but,
I'll give it to you.
yeah, give it to Gretchen,
Yeah, yeah.
and she arranges everything
Sure.
for us. So,
excellent. Thank you.
great, well, thank you.
And then you want to see what place?
Oh, there's
And then, so as I, I'm sorry, is there more?
I think
Yeah,
there's
you
a-
guys-
I have a comment.
Oh, okay, could you state your name?
I'm Lynn Lown. I'm Lynn Lown.
Okay, where do you live?
I may be familiar to you. I've had an issue with the Tobins with their Quonset hut, which needed to be removed because it was.
I do remember, but what's your address?
I
I'm sorry.
remember that too. I'm at 153 Way Road, Rhinebeck.
Okay.
My property adjoins there. And I'm concerned that there's a pattern here of not paying attention to zoning rules, which is how the Quonset hut is built up on their property. And it was a very big structure that, in a major way, damaged my view. And of course, was made.
It's removed though at this
Yeah, yeah.
point.
But this is a pattern of non-compliance with zoning law, this little shed. And if you go back a picture, you'll see that their lawn is impeccably mowed, it's lovely. Yep, that's it. But my view, my property is to the east and north of, in that photograph. When the trees lose their leaves, now there's piles of, I don't know really what it is because it's under tarpaulins that are colorful and flat loosely in the breeze. So the image that they're portraying here of, manicured, good neighbor, that's not my view.
Well, we will go on site, and we'll see, that's actually beyond our purview, really.
So the leaves are on the trees now, and I am very grateful for that. I also sent Gretchen a picture of their dwelling lit at night. I don't know if she included it in tonight's discussion,
No, that has to go to the zoning administrator.
but that will be my view when the leaves come off the trees. It looks like a kind of a grounded cruise liner, so ablaze with light at night. Yeah.
But,
So
again,
I don't know if there's anything
that's
in the
beyond
law
our
about
purview.
that, but that picture is not representative of my view.
Okay, well, perhaps we can come
When
and
the trees lose their leaves.
and bug you
I would
too, and
love
come and
you to
visit you.
come. I would love to have you.
Okay. So we can do both of those since we do the site
Right.
inspection, get the whole lay of the land.
So anyway, if you go back to the parcel, I was through the,
This one?
yeah, just like, I know we were going from the elements, they indicate the character of the neighborhood, so there you see also there's a shed in front front, shed in front, and then I think with this property here, there's also a shed fronting the property. So it's certainly within the character of the neighborhood, no adverse impacts, and I'm happy to arrange, when you guys want to do site visit, maybe I can have my client, if you want to schedule it now, I can have my client.
Well, yeah,
It's usually,
Gretchen will,
well,
is
we're
scheduled.
starting to schedule them here,
Yeah.
so everybody's here. Unless you want, we can do it in the background, but then it seems,
Yeah, no, we can do it right now. We can probably do it for,
and then everybody will be on the same
yeah,
page.
maybe,
It'll be Saturday, right?
yeah,
Usually do the
Saturday.
Saturday before the next meeting.
And plus, we'll be visiting 3 properties, it looks like, so.
You want to do the 9th? That's all, sorry, 13th.
That sounds wonderful.
Okay.
Well, let me ask the folks here, are you going to be around on the 13th?
We'll be here, we'll make sure we're here.
What day are you saying, 13?
13th is Saturday.
Saturday,
so-
the 13th.
That's good.
Saturday the 13th is good for you?
That's my daughter's birthday. And she's having a birthday, but it depends on what time we be. The good news is that I know that I'll be here. We will be here.
How about 10 a.m.? Can we, is that okay?
Probably the morning. If that's the day that it has to be, then the morning would definitely be better, for sure.
Well, we have to have it before.
Well, if it works
Yeah.
if it works for all of you and it works for
We gotta have it before the
our
next
neighbors.
meeting,
Yeah.
so the
I
13th,
understand.
if they can
Yeah.
do it at 10 a.m.
We can do it at 10 a.m., that's
10
when
a.m.
we
on
start
the
doing
13th.
Morning's
We'll make it the first one.
Awesome.
Okay.
By the way, your lawn is beautiful. Yeah, it's really nice.
Cool.
We can all agree on that.
Any other?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Anybody have any questions, concerns? I know, so the properties on either side have, obviously, these,
I think they're on
storage
the
sheds.
same side.
Yeah, there's actually, no, there's one, there's actually.
Oh, are you looking for sheds? Or-
Yeah, sheds.
Oh,
Yeah,
sheds,
so
yes.
yeah, both this
Right there?
property
Over
here,
there?
this property here, and this property here.
And are they forward of the?
They're forward of the house.
Forward of
So
the
here's the road,
Okay.
there's a shed, there's a house, shed, house, shed.
Oh, I just have one more question.
Sure.
At the last engagement we had, it was the Tobin's claim they had an agricultural enterprise,
We're not dealing with that.
but I'm wondering what the crops are and how they're doing.
Well, we, let me just say something.
There's a pattern here.
Up, please. We deal in facts, okay? And one thing I like to think of is that we can disagree respectfully. And so I don't like ad hominem attacks. I don't like snippy, snarky comments. I just want facts. And if, I take this from an old judge, and the louder or the nastier or the snarkier somebody says something, the less I hear, okay? I just want the facts. We're not here, there's no personal aspect of it, we're just looking at the facts. So, I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but I'm just saying that's the way we run things here. It's civil. We all know that people have their opinions, and they're strong opinions sometimes. But if you have a good argument, well, you can just say it gracefully. And that's the strongest argument you can make to me.
What was the concern? I missed it.
Let me ask you this. The properties that he outlines, that Kyle outlines on the right or the left, are either one of those 2 properties belonging to either of you 2 folks?
Right, with the one that he's pointing at, the 3 acre, right there.
All right, and do you have a barn in front of, or a shed in front of your house?
A shed to the left of the house.
Is it in front of it?
It's not in front of it.
And it's been there since.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but is it in front of it? Like it appears to be, that's what he's
It's in
stating.
front of it. In reality, it's
No, I don't,
to the road.
Yeah.
I think it's,
Well, we'll see when we get out there.
Yeah.
Okay. And then on Whose property is that? Is that,
That'd be mine.
okay. And do you have a shed in front
I
of your
have a
property?
shed, but not in front of my house.
Okay. We'll go out and see that.
So would you like to close the public hearing, or would you like to keep it open?
I would like to close the public hearing. And we'll have a site visit, we'll come out and visit you folks. I guess on the 13th of September, we'll get there at 10 a.m. We will not disturb the more important thing, which is a child's birthday party.
Second.
I make a motion that we close
You
the
did.
public
You
hearing.
did.
Oh, did I just make it?
Yeah,
Okay,
you
I'm
did.
guessing. Okay, any second, all in favor, aye. So we'll see you folks on the 13th.
Very good, thank you everyone for your time.
Okay.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, Ken. Haven't seen you in, how long has it been? Long time. Yeah, you haven't changed. You'll be good.
So, I know you said before we'll be doing a site visit, do you have any initial thoughts on that?
Yeah. I want to look at it. Did you leave your number with her?
We'll write to her.
Thank you. Thank you. Alrighty, next we have case number 1078, Dove's Nest. I believe there is a person here for that. And that person is arriving. Hi. Is there anybody here for the Dove's Nest application? Shop. Okay.
Great to see you all again.
Good to see you too. Long time no see.
Yeah, right.
So
Start
if you
over?
could, yeah, even though there's nobody here for this, please, for the public, we need to go through the application. You can give us the footnote version.
Yeah, if you could bring up just the site plan. So, my name is Craig Hightower. I'm the project developer for New Energy Project Management. We've been contracted to develop an 87 kilowatt solar array on the southeast corner of the property at 102 Southlands. Joe, I think you got a question about panel count. I believe that was you. 150 solar panels combined into 2 arrays. We've selected this location not as a preferred location, rather a viable, feasible location that allows for low topography in this corner of the field, which actually, there's another site plan that has topography on it. Actually, yeah, this is an old one.
Oh, this is the one?
Yeah, it's
I don't think I have any.
No,
Oh,
you
this
should have.
one? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
probably
yeah.
like the 10, do the 10.
Oh, did I not?
This one.
This one.
So we've got low topography in this corner of that field. We also have overhead power lines coming from the primary service meter that's on the neighboring parcel, coming overhead through a utility easement to a customer-owned utility pole right about here, where we'll make the interconnection. But once the power goes underground here, which it does, it travels 16 or 1,800 feet up to the main residences over here, where it's heavily wooded and not viable for a solar project. So there's been black willows installed as screening. The other part of this low topography is taking advantage of already our natural screening that's already in place, and the geometry of the angle from the neighboring parcel allows for that screening to be more effective with less of it. That's why we're proposing it there after a lot of time. The highest point of the array is 9 feet 6 inches tall, which is about 2 feet less than the original proposed plan, and that was done also to account for visibility and being able to screen it as naturally as possible.
And I think you had provided new renderings?
Yeah, I sent some new renderings through the planning board, which this is also in front of the planning board as well. If you zoom on in quite a ways, right over there, should be pretty fun there.
And I think this is the existing view, right?
Yep. This is, where is it? Yeah, and it's back there. I mean, it's hard to see, it will be tucked away. Those black willows, I think those would be where they were at that time. We provided another rendering simulating 2-foot growth, which I had expected to be about where they would be in November, and they have already surpassed it where it was today.
Somebody I forget who it was brought up a very good point. They have leaves, they're gonna fall off.
Yeah.
So the screening to me is the most important thing.
Sure.
Have you contemplated, I know you're willing, but have you contemplated putting something else there, evergreens or whatever it is, something that will screen the entire year?
Yeah, so we're exploring evergreens, but the other thing about how they're gonna do these is those willows will grow to be 70 feet tall if you leave them alone. They're gonna top them annually, or even maybe biannually, to limit the growth, because at a certain point, when screening, then it becomes a shade element to the array. So there'll be a balance where that will always be tall enough to screen, but then it will force the willows to branch out wide and become thicker in screening. That's part of it, but yes, we're also considering evergreens.
Yeah.
And we already started a conversation with Southlands about what do they want to see. And that conversation's ongoing. I think they're very satisfied with our approach to it. We've established a really good relationship where we know that, or they know that this isn't just, hey, we're gonna put it here whether you like it or not. We really want to limit the visual impact in a way that suits them the best we can.
It's always helpful to have the next door neighbor support, or, they're changing their position because they were, even though you guys were getting along wonderfully, you had strong disagreement at the last meeting. So if there's been a change, we'd like to see that.
Sure.
And have either a letter or somebody, yes, some communication showing that change of position.
Absolutely. Yeah. We also have the public hearing for the planning board is on the 2nd, so that'll be a good indication.
And we may hold this open, I think we were contemplating holding this open to let the planning board do their work.
Yeah, well, the planning board will be doing the speaker on this. This
Yeah.
will be.
So we have to
the
have it.
actual thing. The ZBA can't issue the
Yeah.
final decision until speaker is done.
And the problem we have is if we close the public hearing, we have 62 days to render a decision, but if the planning board hasn't done their secret determination, we could run out of time. So that's why we keep our hearing open, and wait for the planning board.
Can you please remind me of the property manager's name?
McCall is his first name, and I don't even know his last name. I can't recall it off the top of my head. Yeah, McCall.
I knew it was.
I also submitted a letter from the electrical engineer that we worked with that did the initial design on the system. What we considered the only other real viable location that's not wooded is and you guys were all there, so the driveway up to the house, that field on the other side of that driveway, that would create about a 650-foot trench. I don't know if you have a parcel.
If you're driving out, it's on the left.
It'd be if you're driving toward, well, yeah, if you're driving
out of the house,
property.
it's on your left.
Correct, yeah.
And what's wrong with that?
So yeah, over here, this would then be about a 650-foot transmission from the array to the interconnection point, which would require significant voltage drop. And this was something that I didn't even think about, was the manufacturer recommendations on the inverters themselves would violate what the inverters are designed to do. So not only would it just be a matter of losing the electricity along the way, but it would force the inverters to work harder than they need to, void warranties, etc. So it's not only about voltage drop, it's about equipment feasibility or productivity of the equipment. And then everything, as you guys saw, everything kind of passed these two. So here's where the array is. Here's where the location I was just talking about. Once you start heading this way, everything back over here is just.
And then we were also talking about where the array is now planned, maybe moving it back a little bit, and maybe over, you could still patch into the 5th pole. But I think what you were saying, and I just wanted to get it on the record, was that that would increase the visual problem.
Yeah, it just, going further into this deal, so we were talking about, well, why couldn't we move it up here a little bit, which would actually meet 2 of the setback, and we get it 75 feet, right? And that would be fine.
Which
But-
is important to us because we want to give as few variances as possible.
Sure. And the reason for that would be, you know, like I said, it would actually be easier, it'd be closer to that interconnection point. It would be a little higher elevation, so the trees don't impact it quite as much. But then the angle from the view of Southlands, where the rendering showed and where we've all seen, that now elevates and becomes wider. So now that screening, you know, as it's installed, and we see it around, when you drive around and see things screened, it's like nature can grow that. So, you know, it just becomes more installed screens, which is what we try to avoid. So, you know, again, bringing it back down to these 25-foot setbacks that we're asking for, just helps to naturally screen it and keep visibility at a minimum.
I don't understand, if that pole where you're trying to connect to wasn't there, and you're just starting from scratch, and you wanted to put solar panels for this property, you can have that pole, whether it's underground to a pole, through it, you could have that anywhere on the property if you're not trying to connect to that one specific. Am I right?
Well, it would still have to come from some, I mean, so if you're moving that pole,
I
it's gotta
understand,
be.
but so you move that, and then you can put this array anywhere. And you're not gonna lose any energy, because you can put that as close to the panels as you want.
Sure.
Except that you don't want to see it on that property.
Well, no, it's not about seeing it on the property. I mean, okay, so here's the pole that we're talking about, that we want to interconnect to, and power goes underground here, so there's no more poles after this one. Now it goes underground like to a pad mounted transformer that services the properties here, so somewhere around there. Maybe like right there, right? So it goes underground here. So if you want to put a pole somewhere else, it has to come off of. Here's that service meter, right? So wait, you're right. Yeah, it's out here. And then this is a utility easement, so it would also be easier from our perspective to build and construct it, to just, instead of trenching from here over this pole, we just pop right down to that, the pole that's right there by the fence, connect there, but now we're digging that easement on the Southlands property, which we didn't.
But if that wasn't there, and you're starting from scratch, you could put it right in that spot where we're talking about if you're leaving the driveway on your left, that clear spot there. I mean, you could put a pole there. I mean, if that wasn't there and you're starting from scratch, you could put
Well,
it anywhere.
you'd still have to trench all the way over here and run, and there would still have to be a new transformer to step
So
up
then you
the
can
voltage.
do it by doing a trench to another spot on the property.
Yeah, but like 650 feet, which would be a very expensive, and I mean, it would become cost prohibitive at that point to do it. But there's also, it would not only be the 650-foot trench to get it there, it would also require a transformer to step it up and bring it back over. I mean, that would be a very complicated.
But just putting it on the edge of the property, on the edge of the neighbor's property, just doesn't sit right with me. You know, the whole process that we're going through. I mean, he's making it sound as if there's no other really place to put it, but there really is.
With consequence.
I would really argue that, like, I mean, anything's possible, right? I mean, technically, yes.
But these people want, you know, they want the solar panels. Right, and they don't want to, they don't want to harm a neighbor, supposedly, so, that's all.
I would
estimate.
Right, no, I understand, but can I circle back, because I kind of had the same question when we went out there. If you put a pole in that first field, and had it come off of one of the other poles, and you bought a pole and you moved service in on that pole, and then have the array back, put back. I know you said there were visual aspects and things like that. But you wouldn't have the problem with having the transmission of the electricity go too far so that you lose electricity.
Right.
If you put a pole way back, you know, again, the first, maybe if you could just put the green thingy up there, that right in there, yeah.
So
You
here's
put
the
it back, say you put it back a little bit, a pole, but, you know, you feed it off the existing poles and you feed it back, and then you tie into that.
It's, I mean, I see where you guys are saying, but it's, one, it's not really necessary. If it, like, so, again, yeah, if we move out here and go further
You
into
still
the
go to
field,
5.
we just trench right there, the pole that's already there, we're not, so it's, you know, you guys are saying, like, just put a pole, that pole has to have something to it, like, that pole would either have to have buried or overhead coming from the main service, which, if we're talking about bringing that utility service over here, $100,000, or maybe somewhere between $60,000 to $100,000, if I want to put a worldwide range. I'd be shocked if it was any less than $60,000.
Can I just ask, you mentioned it briefly about your dealings with Southlands recently. Potentially their change in their position on this. Can you, I mean, I'm obviously not holding them to it, but can you tell me the substance of the conversations you have with them and what they've indicated?
Yeah, just, they've indicated that the concerns are with, you know, couple or a few select people on the board, that the people who have been involved, Jacob, Kathy, Kathy's like, I'm totally fine with this, that's no problem. Jacob has explained to me after the site visit, I went over and talked to Jacob and said, hey, like, had another issue with a neighbor there and whatever, that, but expressed that, hey, we are very interested in talking to you of like, what type of screening would you guys like to see there? And he expressed to me that, you know, that their concerns were waning, and that, you know, they can see that, you know, we're trying to work with them and they appreciate that. So he's like, hey, I'm here to kind of represent the broader group, but the tone from the original conversations to the tone we're at now are completely different.
If you could give us some evidence of that, either
Sure.
them contacting us or something written, what have you, if you have an agreement as to what, I mean, obviously the planning board is going to be talking about screening, and we're going to have a screening element to this as well.
Yep.
But if the neighbors and you can agree on screening plan, that solves the issue basically.
Correct.
And that would be good.
Yeah, and I think
And we encourage that. So
I also, something I had kind of wanted to mention right out of the gate, but can't remember the acronym, the historical, someone help me, APAC. They sent a letter agreeing that, you know, with proper screening, that it would be a minimal visual impact or no visual impact at all. I have it pulled up here, I can read from it if you want. But they did do their determination that, you know, what's there, or
I'd like a copy of that, but she says planning board gets it, so I guess, yeah.
I think I might have it, but it doesn't show down.
Well, I'd like to have a copy of that, because that's important. The more people who are, if we just want to, if you guys can agree on something, it makes it a whole lot easier for us.
It says, we do not think the solar array is screened properly will be visible from historic areas and is well located for the property.
Do either of you have any comments before I chime in, because I've got notes and a few things.
I was just trying to think about, like, I'm not an electrical engineer, but how, I'm just curious, like, do you have to hook your solar panels directly into the input lines coming in? Or could you, those input lines that are going to that house, could they go directly, could they meet at the house? The power from the lines from the solar, they meet at the house with the other input lines?
So remember so the power for the house starts over here.
Right.
Here's the meter. So here's where Central Hudson registers how much power is flowing through, right? Comes overhead, goes underground here, and travels all the way through. There's a gully, there's brutal terrain, and comes over here. So could we connect to that transformer there? Sure. But there's nowhere over here that can do that, right? So we have to do it there. So essentially, what we are doing is what you're describing. So we're tapping in to that. We're not tapping into the service meter, right? We're tapping into just a new meter that will host the PV, the solar that's coming in, and then the electrons technically will flow wherever they need to go. If the you know, there's loads in the houses or from that transformer that needs it, it'll flow that way. If it's maxed, it'll flow towards Central Hudson.
What about that area above where that, there's like verbiage there, and there's like a semicircular thing there?
Right here?
No, to the right of that.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
What about putting it right there?
Yeah, this is about where I'm talking. So this is a low point that gets, you know, kind of swampy and whatever. There's like an elevated spot right about here, which was the alternative location that, you know, I've explored years ago. And it's, that's what really set 650-foot challenge.
If I may, I mean, a few things. I mean, I found this site visit to be extremely helpful.
Extremely what?
Helpful. I was really appreciative that your clients allowed access to the house, and the caretaker, or the property manager, I should say, facilitated that, and for me personally, that alleviated any question about the possibility of having solar panels on the roof. Yeah, and I also think that talking to Southlands and hearing what they were saying specifically, I got a sense that they were looking for a way to make this happen. And I'm hearing that more now. I think the location makes best sense for me now, going out there and seeing it. I don't think a scrape or a dig is necessary. But I do think that having some type of screening is important, and it sounds to me like you're considering that, and you're gonna do something about that. So I mean,
yeah, they're fully committed to it.
I also really appreciate the planning board's chair for helping facilitate things at the meeting. For me, I'm strongly inclined to move forward on this.
I did not get that the Southland people were necessarily agreeing. I mean, I think they were just, if indeed, I think they were saying, if it has to be here, then let's have as much screening as we can. My point is, does it really have to be there?
And if I misspoke and say agreeing, it sounds to me like there is consensus of some sort, but I hear.
Proof of the consensus that you're speaking of would be very helpful to us. We are going to have to put the public hearing on because we have to wait for the planning board. So you have time to do that, and I would love to see something from Southlands where the two of you agree on a plan for screening. That would be very nice, and that would make our job.
And Joe, when we were up, I mean, you said it right away, it's like, what evergreens, will put something there, and then where the leaves
No,
will
we
be.
had talked about evergreens, they shed their leaves, right? That's,
Yeah, me actually, like for me personally, I wouldn't have chosen the black willows. That was done kind of in the gap. This project stalled for a little bit. Evergreens are nice because they stay thick at the bottom and they don't, as they grow taller, they don't create much of a shade because they're going this way, not this way. I think a good mixture of both, to have some evergreens kind of maybe plug the holes a little bit, but have the black willows be there for overall coverage. But again, the mission of the client is to make it disappear from anybody who doesn't want to see it. So we're definitely open to that.
I was just gonna say, I actually, my initial reaction was, if you have 60 acres, why do you have to put it there? And you've done a great job of explaining why the site visit was very helpful. I think that Southlands is a trust or permanently in its state of open land, and actually, I don't think anybody's gonna be aware that they're even there after they're established. And I think that in the spirit of the sort of nature focus of Southlands, that renewable energy is very much in keeping, should be in keeping with their mission, and I don't have any objections.
I mean, they asked me to draw up an array on their roof. I mean, it's, you know, they definitely are supportive of the overall thing. I think the initial sting was, yeah, like, what, you know, why here? You know, but
Right.
through this process, you know, I've been working on this a really long time. I've been, you know, very careful and mindful to consider everything. And, you know, to your point, it just really, there's no other kind of to the tune of, yeah, anything's possible with enough money, sure. But at that cost, the economics of the project, which is, it would be silly. So the return on the investment would be, you know, 50 years.
And a property owner who, from all intents and purposes, looks like they want to keep 60 acres intact in a very important district with renewable energy, I think is the kind of thing we need to preserve, you know, encourage, not at anybody else's detriment, but that's part of the fabric.
And again, latching on to what Brian, I won't belabor it, but I think it was key that the manager allowed us to go to the main house and the other houses. You could see, one, that there was no way you could put it on the roof. Two, it's probably a historic structure and might be prohibited there. Three, there was just way too many trees. There's trees all over the place. So.
There's dormers and, yeah.
Yeah.
There's and,
So
yeah, like
that was very helpful. By the way, before I forget, and surprised you didn't remind me, you're supposed to mind me.
The letter?
The letter.
You still got time.
Okay.
We're gonna get there, don't worry.
Oh, you got one too? Okay. Just for the record, we received a letter, and let me just get this in here before I forget. We received a letter from James Gurney, who I believe was at the site. And it's dated July 18, 2025. It's addressed to myself and the other members of the zoning board. And basically, he outlines his opinions on the project, basically that it's inappropriate and he's against it. But I'm not going to read it. It's just, I just want to make it clear that we did receive this. We're accepting this. It'll be part of the record.
Scott, while I'm taking notes, can you explain what you said a few times that during the site visit you saw that the panels on the roofs weren't doable? Can you just provide us an explanation?
Sure. If you look at the roof of the house, the way the dormers are and everything else, there's no way to put an array. It's choppy. There's no way to put an array there. And the other thing is that it wouldn't make a difference. Well, first of all, it's an historical structure, so that may preclude it. But the other thing is that there are trees all over the place.
200 trees now.
I mean, it's all over the place. So, yeah, which is wonderful, but is not conducive to this. So it was,
not great for solar access.
Yeah.
Doors, they have apple roof, and guess what? They could just fall permanent. You don't have.
Say that one more time.
You say the neighbors. Did I hear that? Well, actually, I don't want to go down that path, but I thought you said that they were talking about doing solar too.
Yeah.
So that's my point. Well, they can do it on the roof.
Correct.
So they need a variance, they don't need to go through the plan, they just pull permit.
It'll be a little
That's
easier.
simple, yeah.
But they have a terrific setup for it. I mean, it makes sense there. And that's kind of always been my approach, is like, how can we make this work in a way to get as much power as we can in a way that makes the most sense? Environmentally and for the clients that I work for.
Okay, we had enough? All right, so I'm going to make a motion that we continue the public hearing because the planning board has some work to do and we really can't move forward until they complete their work. So make a motion that we continue the public hearing. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, all in favor? Aye. All right.
Now, do we, will this be in the?
It'll be put over until the 17th of September, and then we'll see what the planning board has done by then. I know they have a meeting before then.
Now, is there an opportunity for a resolution, perhaps?
We can't do a resolution until the planning board So that's what we're waiting for. But as Scott mentioned with another application, once you close the public hearing, you have 62 days. We don't know exactly when the planning board's gonna be finishing their seeker. It might be after 62 days, so that's why we're just keeping that so that the clock doesn't.
Okay, understood. I heard that got brought up a couple times, so I just like,
Yeah.
don't know how that applies. All right.
Right, thank you.
Done?
And if, again, if you can get additional information, it's out there.
I'll work on
And,
it.
and enterprises as to how you two are making out.
Yeah, no, this is good. Good. Thank you. Can I
Thank you. Have to think of salacious things.
So, you know, we can't be moving forward until seeker does their, so planning board does their seeker. Do you have any initial thoughts, just so I can just start?
Yeah, my initial
considering?
thought is, it's fine, but it's so important that it be screened and there be no visual aspect to it, which I think can be done. I like the evergreen thing, and I think maybe it was Joe talking about the leaves. I didn't even think about that, but
Couple of us.
yeah, the leaves go down, and we need, it'll be visible, so you need to have the evergreens, you need to have an assurance that there will be no visual impact. And if I have that, then I don't have a problem with it. And I also don't have a problem with it if Southlands agrees to a screening protocol, and that would be wonderful.
Anybody else have any initial thoughts? I mean, when there is
I
more
don't think
meetings.
it should be there. I think we have a lot of, you know, so it's there because it would cost the property owner more money to put it where, closer to their property as opposed to their neighbor's property. That's bottom line the reason. It would cost them more money. I don't think that's a good enough reason.
Well, I guess in that though, is if you can get something that everybody can agree to, that's what you want to do, right? You know what you're saying, what you're doing.
I echo Scott's sentiment.
Sorry, I already said what I thought. I think it's, I think it just seems to make sense there, and if Southlands is amenable to it, that is always gonna be horse pasture and riding rings and things like that, and it's not in anybody's view, as far as I can see. I was gonna ask if the neighbor who wrote the letter, what it is they see.
I don't think he's a neighbor, but he's a person who is there very frequently. He's a painter and
I
paints.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a neighbor of the
This
property,
disruption, he's protecting
but he's there
the
all the
shed.
time, right?
Has anybody asked for a rendering of the view shed with them in it? I mean, I know we saw it, we saw what it looks like in that corner from those different perspectives, but as a,
Yeah, these were the renderings that were provided. This was the first rendering from last month. This was just in the corner.
I mean, I don't even see it. Yeah, it's
Right
You can
here.
s- Yeah, you see right there.
It's a little harder on just the lighting.
That's the, and I think that this is the most accurate one, and it depicted, we depicted 2 feet of growth from where they were when I took this photo, which is what I kind of expected the growth to be in November. That's where it is today. I bet you if we took a picture today, those would actually be taller than they are in the depiction of 2 feet.
And then these were some of the new ones. I think this is an existing site. And then, so I don't know if you can see that little blip when I, here, I'll try to zoom in. So it's like around right here. This is the existing site. And then, go to the next page. See.
Do you need a pen or something?
No, I need the little lighting thing. Do you guys
Oh,
see
yeah,
that?
there.
Is it-
That's
is
right.
it-
that one,
Oh.
it does, but of course, that's from the very, that's from that, I think that's from that high point, that little viewing point up on the ridge.
Looks like it's right from there.
That was like, there was those picnic tables that were right there.
Yeah.
That is the highest point.
On the little
I also want to say
yeah.
that was one that we, one of the first ones we did that I
Let me just read the last piece.
And And then this was another one, and you can see it, so here's where the existing site is.
We did.
And then here's, I think. Right here.
That's on the walls right now. So.
And then this was another one.
Whenever I said it was.
And
Just takes a look at my
Is this
Mac.
farther, you know, is your, if somebody was building a house there, would you feel differently if that's what, or is it that it's solar panels?
Yeah, that was
Because, so I mean, I'm constantly heartbroken by any disruption to the view shed around Rhinebeck and would like everything to sort of stop where it is right now, but things keep going in. And so I'm just curious, is it, you know, if somebody's asking a variance for a house there, would that strike you as it being different than it being solar panels?
Are you asking me this question?
Yes.
Oh, no, it's even, I think for the property that it's bordering, Southlands, I think it's, I think it's a shame that it's going there. If it was a house, I don't know how I would feel because it's not a house, but I would feel the same. I think it's just basically on the border of the property. And so it's, you know, not in my front yard in a way, it's the opposite. It's just as far as away that they don't have to see any of it to benefit from it. And it's all because of a savings of whether it's 50,000 or 80,000, I don't know. I think that's what I believe.
Okay.
I'm glad there's a difference of opinion.
Yeah, and of course, I was just gonna say, of course, there can always be a difference of opinion. with
Reasonable
our
minds and
process.
different.
Yeah.
All right, we're good.
All right, have we had enough of
Yes.
the public hearings? I think we have. One thing I'm going to do on the schedule here is, someone reminded me, but I did it already. We have the Sabia resolution. I'm going to save that for the end because she is not here. So we will do the resolutions for people who are actually here. And we'll go in order. So the first one up is case number 1072, Nick Stanley. And we have a resolution.
No disrespect, but I'm going to remain seating, is that right?
Absolutely.
Wait, it's not a public
You don't even
hearing.
have to be here, yeah, you're not.
Well, I wanted to be here.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you didn't, you're not allowed to speak or anything like that, but the public comments are all over anything. So we're just reading the resolutions, we're just reading the last portion of it because they've already been, you've already reviewed it, because they
Yeah, that's fine.
put out. So, I don't know who was assigned to us, but I
I
guess.
think it was me.
Was it you?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I gotta find it first in my file here, or, there it is. So we start off at,
Now therefore.
okay, it's further down. I haven't read what you wanted, so. Oh, there we go.
Page 6.
Now therefore be it resolved, based on all the facts described above and upon the reasoning described above as follows. Section 1, we uphold the denial of the short-term rental permit issued by the town zoning enforcement officer. The property is not the applicant's primary residence, and he therefore fails to meet the requirements of an STR permit. The RV on the property is also not permitted to be used as a short-term rental. Excuse me. Section 2, no STR is permitted on the property without the issue of an STR permit. Section 3, for clarity purposes only, the notice of apparent violation, the order to remedy dated June 15, 2022 is still outstanding. The resolution does not address that violation, but only confirms that no permits or approvals have been issued to address the violation cited. Motion to approve.
Well, we need discussion. Any comments? I mean, to me, the law was pretty clear, whether you agree with it or not. The law is the law, and I think it's the right resolution because of the new law that's in place. And, you know, the solution, if you don't like the law, is that you go in front of the town board and try to get them to change the law, because they're the ones who put it in place. But that's the law that we have, so I think it's right on the law and the facts, and that's just my opinion, but.
Scott, may I say something?
No.
First of all, I want to thank you for giving my due diligence on this thing anyway. And I still believe that this is not detrimental to the community, that it's beneficial. Right now, there's a couple with 2 little kids and a dog there for $150 a night to go to the fair.
No, I hear you.
And so I think it's beneficial for the community, and as you know by email, I'm going to pursue relief.
And I understand your position, Nick, but
That's fine.
we have to look at the law, and the law,
Yeah, no.
the town board passed a law, we're given this law,
Yeah,
we're given
not
the
a problem,
facts.
not a problem.
This is the correct result as a, you know, putting the two together.
Yep.
And I don't disagree with what you say, but your fight is with the town board.
Well, I don't know my attorney will, I don't know what, it could be a suit, it could be, I don't know what he's going to do. I know he's going to ask for a stay, because I have customers booked through,
Okay.
and all that kind of
Well-
stuff, so it's probably going to be a legal matter.
Okay, that's, okay, so let's just get through this thing, but okay, it's correct in the law. Anyway, who else would like to speak, anybody?
On this matter? No, I think you're right.
Yeah,
It's the law is the law.
The law is the law, it's a
We
new
talked
law.
about it, I mean, it's.
I agree.
I just don't understand why we have public hearings. That would save me a lot of money sending out registered letters and putting ads in the newspapers and all that. You just should have said, we're not going to approve it.
No, it's the process, and we have to go through the process, so we've kind of said more than we should.
You know, if somebody came in and objected, I'd be on your guys' side. But I have a letter in favor. My vote's in
Nick,
favor.
your fight is with others.
Yep.
We've done what we've done.
Again, I appreciate your time and giving me my chance to do due diligence. Sounds nice to see you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Nick. Now,
Get your head.
oh, you're going to make a motion to approve this resolution.
Motion to approve this draft resolution.
Do we have a second?
Do we have a
Second.
Second, okay. Gretchen?
Scott?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Karen?
All right, so the next one is, oh no, Emma Sabia gets put at the end because she's not here. And the next one is, I apologize. How do you pronounce your name again? Never get that. Case number 1080, how's that? All right, so do we know who was assigned to this?
That was mine.
All right,
ZBA case number 1080. Now therefore be resolved based on all the facts described above upon the reasoning described above as follows. Section 1, the ZBA hereby grants the variance requested by the applicant, finding that the benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and community by such grant. The shed is small, reasonably located in the rear of the property, and well screened from view. It avoids environmentally sensitive areas and aligns with the layout of the principal dwelling. The variance is the minimum necessary to meet the applicant's needs. Section 2, the granting of the variance is expressly contingent upon the following. The variance is approved with the condition that the shed be no larger than 200 square feet and placed as proposed, approximately 9 feet from the neighborhood property line existing fencing and vegetation, looks like, must be maintained to help screen the shed. Section 3, the granting of this variance shall also be expressly contingent upon the applicant's full payment to the town of Rhinebeck of any and all fees and escrow deposits due in connection with the application in full compliance with Article 14,
14.
Catholic School.
That's right.
Free reimbursement of the town of Rhinebeck zoning board. This variance shall not be deemed granted until such fees are paid in full by the applicant. Section 4, the granting of this variance does not absolve the applicant from having to secure any other required permits and approvals. Proposal structure must be constructed in conformity with the applicant and plans submitted. And Section 5, the area variance shall be null and void unless the proposed construction is commenced within 1 year of this resolution. Any comments?
Article 14, the Roman numeral is getting too easy, so I'm going to put the rest of it in Latin. That's your Catholic upbringing.
Remember the binding rights on?
No, it made absolute sense. The placement was good. While it was 9 feet, 7 inches or something from the property line, there was screening, you couldn't see anything on the other side. And it looked fine to me, and it was kind of a no-brainer. That was just my thought. Anybody else?
Yeah, the 9 feet thing, I mean, when we were looking at it at the corner and we were looking at it, when there was a flag lot where the driveway that was going up there, it looked like there was a property stake there that wasn't it right there? I mean, it was not.
It was
9
right
feet
there,
away.
but
It wasn't 9 feet away.
No, I know, but that's what
That's
we
what
have, that's the information we have on
Okay.
the plan, is it's 9 feet, 7 inches or something, or that's the closest point. But,
But,
you know,
other than that, I think it's good.
Right?
what's that?
They hired a surveyor to do it.
Yeah.
So that might be something else, that post.
Yeah.
I know somebody.
Yeah, that probably is, right.
The issue of the structure being too close to the house, but there's no prohibition about it being that close. And, it's tucked away as best it can be for that lot. There's,
I agree.
the house itself is not compliant.
Good.
Motion to approve ZBA case number 1080.
Seconded. Gretchen?
Scott,
Yes.
Richard,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Erin. Yes. Thank you very much.
Welcome. So, next is,
No plumbing though.
are you still awake? Mr. Angel?
She'll be last, the last she'll be first.
Yeah, that's right, well, yeah, I think it'll be worth the wait. All right, so the next case on is 1070 Statsburg Holdings LLC. And which individual? Brian again.
Did you say 1077?
Yeah,
1077,
1077.
yes.
ZBA case number 1077. Now therefore, be it resolved, based on all the facts described above, upon the reasoning described above as follows. Section 1, ZBA hereby grants variances requested by the applicant, finding that the benefit of the applicant outweighs the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and community is granted. The applicant proposes to develop a new commercial building that will include a flooring showroom and supply storage area and foster flooring. The proposed use is a welcomed improvement to the property, and the proposed commercial use is in keeping with the surrounding area, which includes a storage unit facility, restaurant, and car sales lot. Due to the size of the property, meeting the setbacks is very difficult and makes the development area very constrained. The applicant has worked in and around the constrained site to develop a usable area to develop the property. The applicant has provided landscaping along Route 9G to help mitigate the visual impact of the building along Route 9G. Section 2, the granting of these variances is expressly contingent upon the following. The proposed structures must be constructed in conformity with the applicant, and the plan submitted subject to any changes or recommendations from the planning board during the course of its review. Section 3, the granting of these variances shall also be expressly contingent upon the applicant's full payment to the town of Rhinebeck of any and all fees and escrow deposits due in connection with this application in full compliance with Article 14, free reimbursement of the town of Rhinebeck zoning law. These variances shall not be deemed granted until such fees are paid in full by the applicant. Section 4, the granting of these variances does not absolve the applicant from having to secure any other required permits and approvals. And Section 5, the area variances shall be null and void unless the proposed construction is commenced within 1 year of resolution. Any comments?
To godsend. That area has just been a blight forever.
Oh, forever. Oh, my gosh.
It's a
What a
disaster,
nice-
it's terrible.
What a wonderful
And
addition.
coming in and putting in
Yep.
that building and with the landscaping and everything else, it's gonna be, vast is not the right word, improvement for that area. It's just been,
Monument.
words cannot express how the improvement.
Otherworldly.
Otherworldly, okay. No, it's just, it's fantastic that there's gonna be something there.
There's gonna be some life there. Yeah.
Well, and just the hideousness will be gone.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's part of the main corridor.
Absolutely.
Any other comments? Motion to.
What?
Oh, no.
Oh, so sure.
Here's about
I
it.
was just gonna say, I think
My
it's very
apologies.
exciting that a local business is moving into a new, more prominent space and apparently doing very well.
And cleaning up.
And cleaning up an eyesore in the process.
Beyond. Joe?
Well, there's a motion.
I don't have
Oh,
anything more
well,
to say. I mean, I agree, I
There's
wish
some
that
comment,
half in
yeah.
there, even though it's not passed by a court, I think it's good to see it
Yeah.
being used for something useful as opposed to
You're like,
what's there. I hope there aren't any surprises though.
Agreed?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so,
Motion to approve ZBA case number 1077.
second.
Gretchen,
Are we getting tired?
we are getting tired.
Scott's getting tired.
We're having fun.
This is the record time for me.
Scott?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. There's clients, thank you.
Good night.
Next one's Richard.
What am I doing, the bottle shop?
Bottle shop. Appropriate, correct.
The bottle shop. Draft resolution. Okay, in the matter of area variance application of John Savia and Emma Savia, DBA The Bottle Shop, ZBA case number 1079. Now therefore be it resolved, based on all the facts described above and upon the reasoning described above as follows. Section 1, the ZBA hereby grants the area variances requested by the applicant, finding that the benefit to the applicant outweighs the detriment to the health, safety, welfare of the neighborhood or community by such a grant. The signs are small, located on the doors within Astor Square, provide helpful information such as hours of operation and directions, and will not adversely impact the neighborhood's character or environment despite exceeding permitted signage limits. Section 2, the granting of these variances is expressly contingent upon the following. The signage remaining limited to the size and location as presented and that no additional signage beyond what is approved shall be installed without further review. Section 3, the granting of these variances shall also be expressly contingent upon the applicant's full payment to the town of Rhinebeck of any and all fees and escrow deposits due in connection with this application and full compliance with Article 14, fee reimbursement of the town of Rhinebeck zoning law. These variances shall not be deemed granted until all such fees are paid in full by the applicant. Section 4, the granting of these variances does not, or the granting of these variances does not absolve the applicant from having to secure any other required permits and/or approvals. The proposed signs must be constructed in conformity with the application and plans submitted. Section 5, the area variances shall be null and void unless the proposed signs are installed within 1 year of this resolution. Any discussion?
Great, yeah, great reason to site inspection, they look good, and they're fine,
Yeah,
very nicely, tastefully done.
smartly. Yeah, it's an improvement over what was there, because I remember what was there. So,
Anybody else?
It was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
so I think then maybe I'll make a motion to approve resolution,
To approve the-
of the ZBA case number 1079.
Second.
Gretchen?
Okay. Scott?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Karen?
Yes.
You know, I was gonna let Karen make the second, and you just,
I made the second on the last one.
oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, Brian's been having a lot of seconds, you know?
So, next,
He's fast.
All right.
You don't have to practice.
So, we have nothing more?
We
Please
have
say
one more
yes.
resolution, but do we have to read it, or?
Which one is it?
The pool.
Oh, no, we,
No.
it's continued.
Okay.
Yes, I drafted it because I wasn't sure where the
Yeah.
board was going, but we'll just move it on to the next time.
So that's it, Kim? Please say yes. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.